Okay. Son of a bed. I always remember these things as soon as I go on the air. Hey, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, good wherever you're listening to us. Welcome to another episode of Midnight's Edge After Dark. It is Monday, December 17th, 2018. And if you're like me, you got to pay your credit card bill today. So the bastards,
I'm not even lucky enough to have one. So
it's an overrated experience. Trust me. That's all we make in this country anymore is debt. But anyway, that notwithstanding, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good holiday season. We are coming to you live from Shabby Road Studios and joined by Mr. Tom Connors.
Good evening, good sir. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Just waiting to see who else we could piss off today.
I had to wash the taste of spider curse out of my mouth. I went and seen Wreck-It Ralph the night before. I almost kind of had like a private screening. It was pretty good. It wasn't as good as the first one, but
are people just not going to movies in Wisconsin? I mean, what's going on?
Well, it just happened to be that this place, it's a smaller little place. I love it. They're like a video store, but they've got like a little fourplex built into it, and they're really small, like screening rooms.
Oh,
and nobody went.
Awesome.
And nobody went to the movie, and I'm like, oh, did the movie start yet? And the lady's like, no, but I can start it for you. So it was like my own little private screen.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, and anyway, it was decent. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I laughed quite a bit. I thought it was cute. A little drawn out in some spots, but we do have a special guest besides Mecca here as always. So
hey, Mecca, how's it going? First of all, let's introduce Mecca Random.
Hi, it's going.
The ever lovely, ebullient, effervescent Mecca Random 42, random game user, or whichever name she's going by today. And Tom, who else do we got today?
We have with us a member of our own troupe, that is, writer for Midnight's Edge and a member of the Peanut Butter Podcast, Mr. Tyler BioShock. Tell us a little bit about yourself real quick.
I'm just a guy that has no voice for radio or a face for TV, but I'm here nonetheless.
Then you're in the right place.
You do have a voice for sportscasting because you sound like Al Michaels.
I was gonna say you
amazing.
You fit right in with Rob and I. Mecca, on the other hand, she's actually the only pro here, so she actually has more subscribers than we do now. So
as far as this channel, not the main channel.
We keep pissing them off.
My subscribers include a snail, a cat, maybe a dead dog, and that's about it.
Oh wow.
So, all right. So let's dive right in. Let's see how many more people we could piss off.
Well, we got some. Well, this is kind of good news. We got a little karma back from having to deal with one extra episodes of Star Trek Discovery. Though we hope they were just an extra one to film an ending proper. Tell us a little bit about this Les Moonves news, Rob.
Yes. Apparently, you know what they say about payback. It's a cold-hearted bitch. So.
I'm getting there. You beat me to the punch. I'm trying.
I'm sorry. Damn it.
Trying to get the graphic up here. No, that's all right.
So anyway, our favorite executive, Les Moonves, he will not be receiving his $120 million. There you go. That check is void. Not receiving his $120 million severance and terminated for cause, declares the board. Taking this from Deadline, updated with stock movement. Les Moonves, the once powerful CEO of CBS, will not be getting a single dime of the $120 million in severance he expected after stepping down under allegations of misconduct this fall, the company's board has decided today. The board of directors of CBS has completed its investigation of former chairman, CE and CEO Leslie Moon. They addressed him by his full name, Leslie Moonves, CBS News and Cultural Issues at CBS.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun.
I don't think his wife calls him Leslie at all.
She calls him meal ticket. No.
Where is our obligatory Nelson soundboard sort of moment?
We got to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, we can do it in OBS.
You do it better, Tyler. There you go.
Oh wow, I do.
You got the higher voice for it. See, me and Rob are more in the mid bass range. You got the higher voice.
I can do 3 voices then. I can do Nelson, I can do Krusty the Clown, I can do Daffy Duck, and that's about it.
I got nothing to work with here. Nothing.
Not bad.
It's like, oh, they drove a dump truck to my house. I couldn't do it. I'm a man of stone.
Well, they're not driving a dump truck up to Les's house, evidently.
No,
If they are, it's not going to be full of money.
They keep going. With regard to Mr. Moonves, we have determined that there are grounds to terminate for cause, including his willful material misfeasance. I was almost a malfeasance. Violation of company policies and breach of his employment contract, as well as his willful failure to cooperate fully with the company's investigation. Now, they capitalize companies. The company being CBS proper. Mr. Moonves will not receive any severance payment from the company. Moonves is expected to take legal action in regards to not getting the big bucks payout he anticipated. His spokesperson did not respond to Deadline's request for comment. CBS's stock, which during the regular trading day sank 2.5% to a new one-year low, rallied nearly 1% after hours. Gained a whole percent. Wow. Wall Street generally has been supportive of the moves the company has made to turn the page on the Moonves
Wouldn't
era.
that make the stock go up, don't you think, though, since they're not going to be kicking out that much cash? Or will we see that in the next few days, maybe, do you think?
I think it'll rise once they announce more stuff, maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, it goes on. The board's decision seemed all but inevitable, given the disclosures from a draft of an internal report obtained by the New York Times, which revealed that Moonves had destroyed evidence and misled investigators in an effort to protect his reputation and pay out. In that preliminary investigation report, investigators said they had substantiated numerous accusations of sexual misconduct and uncovered previously undisclosed allegations of wrongdoing. And yada, yada, yada. There's a lot more here to read. But,
well, I guess Les is just not going to be able to get the shrimp with his steak and lobster next time. That's all.
Don't feel bad. Don't cry for him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not crying for him one fucking bit.
If you listen, you can hear Sherry Redstone cracking open her wine case.
We'll get to the Redstones in a minute. What were you going to say there, Mecca?
I totally forgot.
Sorry.
I'll say this. This is another enemy of Michael Eisner. He's going to dance on his grave.
Oh, boy, yeah. Well, one of the things, though, I mean, Les Moonves, if he's smart, he invested all his money. He's not gonna be like
he's not fucking hurting. Dude's probably worth $1 billion.
Yeah, he's got more money than like he could probably spend. I don't think he's going to hurt. That 120 million is like what he would. Probably. Yeah, that's what he would buy his next like condo with.
Yeah, this is.
You got to remember, this guy's been in the business now forever. Sorry, Rob.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna look up his net worth list.
No, that's all I was gonna say was, he's been in the business since the late 70s, early 80s, something like that.
Yeah, like the mid 70s. Les Moonves left CBS with a net worth of $700 million. That's obscene.
I told you, close to $1 billion.
What are you gonna do with that much money?
And I'm sure he's still paid for this year and everything. So
he'll go to bed crying on a bed full of beautiful girls.
And checks from fucking residuals for fucking Friends. Think about how much he just got from that Friends $100 million.
Exactly.
Even if he has to give, somebody a piece of that action, he's still gonna walk away with a nice chunk of change.
Well, he'll get his residuals for being a producer and whatever, and I'm sure they get one of the bigger portions. I'm willing to bet he gets a good 25% of that money.
Lewis Black would look at that amount of money and says, "What are you going to do with that money? Start your own space program? look, we can look, Julie, we can launch our own animals."
I would probably start my own space program if I had that kind of cash.
Right, and that doesn't even include the money she's got.
Yeah, because she's got how much money for like hosting, and she probably produces as well. So she's probably getting producing money for what the talk or whatever the hell the show is, and
Big Brother
and whatever else she does.
I've never seen her as a host on Big Brother. She was always awful.
Yeah,
she knew whose dick to suck.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Obviously.
That's right, Julie. Oh yeah, that's good. So, how would you like your own show? Okay, all right. What do you say? A reality show, sitcom, not reality show? Oh yeah, a little more teeth. There we go. Oh, Big Brother.
Okay,
yeah,
that's too much.
Brother.
Okay.
So if anybody does like want to throw billions of dollars my way to host a reality show, I might be have some talent in some areas, but I didn't say that.
How you picked her? You just went on like a Pornhub and just started typing in actors and went, I'm gonna go with that one. Oh damn, I got the wrong one.
Or the cam girl. She might have been a cam girl.
I got nothing against Julie Chen. She's a lovely lady, as they would say.
Well, she's covering for her husband. How lovely can she be?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, Willie. But he was one of the guys who greenlit it, and I'm sure he's got his crawls ready. Well, not only that, he's got other shows that he's got interest in as well. And Captain April says she's left the talk and probably won't be back for Big Brother, which is understandable.
Maybe they can get Charlie Rose as a host. Oh wait, no, they can't.
I'm pretty sure Les is. I'm pretty sure Les is at home. Oh, jeez, how do I get out of the house? I gotta get out of the house. I gotta get away from this bitch. I'm sorry.
Well, it sounds like, in all fairness, it sounds like from the report that his misbehavior did stop when he did marry her, but I'm sure that was more or less it slowed down, not stopped.
Yeah, well, so did Gary Widgway. He stopped murdering people once he got married.
Oh.
Okay, you're coming back next time, Tyler.
Okay.
Oh, I like it. You're coming back really soon. I like that. See, here's the thing, Tyler. You see the line and you're not afraid to cross it. That's what I like.
Yeah, you see this line going over there.
Exactly.
Random has more subscribers than we do too.
You, my friend, are a habitual line stepper. So that's okay. All right.
Make your theme song "Walking on a Thin Line" by Huey Lewis. I love that fucking song. I don't care what anybody says.
I walk the line. So anyway, oh boy,
that's Johnny Cash.
Whatever it is.
Walking on a thin line. Come on, Huey Lewis.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody used to sing it fucking on the
I don't remember it.
Something line, I can't remember. You don't remember that song?
No.
Well, it's one of his better songs, but it's one that they don't play very often on the radio anymore.
That's probably why it probably hasn't played in years.
It's a good song. After the show,
I believe the TV show Vice Principals ended by playing that song.
Possibly. It's a great song. I don't know. It's one that I think don't get enough attention, but anyway. I think they didn't they talk about it in the fucking didn't he talk about it in American Psycho?
He did.
I think so. Anyway, let's get back to Les, because then we got some Redstone news.
After all, less is more.
Especially around here.
But this whole thing about this comes very coincidentally as news breaks that Star Trek Discovery is going to be adding another 2 episodes.
Well, no, we just had the 1 episode. I think it was we talked about last.
Well, you know what that means, though. That means they've cut an episode in half.
Well, we speculated it was either that or Mecca came up with the idea, and Andre even kind of thought maybe that's a possibility. Is that they were filming an ending proper? But like, you got 1 more episode to finish this shit off. And that makes sense too. So it could be one or the other.
Or like to tag on some sort of like another one of those. And this is Starfleet speech sort of thing where Mikey Spock can interrupt the next admiral. Oh God.
Excuse me, Admiral.
No. The show will end with Mikey Spock literally talking to Kirk saying, "You should be a better captain by doing all these things."
And then you will be a better captain because I told you all to do this.
You guys, you still denying the obvious of what's going to happen.
That she's going
to become Spock. Yes.
In the Spock's Katra?
Yes.
I don't want her to be Spock, though.
And that's why nobody ever talks about her, because she is Spock.
They're
going to sell this shit.
I honestly want to believe that they could never do something that idiotic. But then again, it is Alex Kurtzman.
They will. That's the problem. I mean, they're going to do it because it is Alex Kurtzman.
Alex Kurtzman. Da, 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 da. He's a hack.
Steel Johnson, thank you so much for the $2. He says, "Hail Mead, hi Mecca. Thanks for all you guys do, and thank you for being one of our fans and listening. As far as I know, almost every show we do, you're here. So,
Steel Johnson, that's a great porn name.
Isn't it though?
It probably is. It probably is his porn name.
You know what my porn name is? Flacido Domingo.
That doesn't sound right though.
I thought it would be Rob the Rod.
Ramrod.
Yeah, Ramrod. Yeah.
Ram. Yeah. Rod Ram. Rod Ram. Rod Remington or whatever.
No, at Captain April, I've brought this up a few times, but my whole theory is that something's wrong with Spock, or something's going to happen to Spock, and the only way he can be saved is for Mikey to meld with him, and she will sacrifice herself. And thank you so much, Neon Visual, for the £2.
Look at that.
And
for Mr.
Someone needs to do a super cut of every time he says "and." Every single conference he does, it's like, "Oh, and."
Anyway, as I was saying with my theory, is that they will blend together, because this is the whole thing. Is they're kind of showing this version of Spock who's a little bit of a rebel. He's a little rough around the edges. And Mikey Spock knows everything, and she's prim and proper. And this is how they will make Spock and more like and we are used to and that is melding the two.
He's such a rebel. His phone number is probably rebel.
He needs us. And of course, something's going to happen to Discovery so that technology isn't around anymore. Blah blah blah.
Speaking of that, I'm almost surprised this show hasn't actually used any licensed music like Sabotage.
Oh, well, they did for the trailer, but no, I had the worst thought. What if they added an episode where they needed to tie in that Calypso short trek where they're like where the ship is abandoned 1,000 years into the future, and it becomes sentient. And I wonder if they needed to like tie in Calypso to the series, so they were like tying in like some sort of ending to where everybody has to leave Discovery and abandoned, and oh my god, no.
The one good thing about this season, if they try to be this motion picture, is all the sexual stuff's going to get thrown at Tilly.
No, they're so stupid they won't see the connection there, and they're just going to make a even more boring version than the slow motion picture.
How's that possible?
Well, STD said, "Hold my beer."
Yes.
It's so funny though. Like everybody on like Twitter is just like, "Oh, why do you guys always have to shit on people who like Discovery? Why can't you just let us like it?"
They come at us
because it sucks. That's why.
Well, it's part of it's not so much that I mind that they like it. It's like I've said, is that they got to attack old Trek, and there's a few commenters who are all the same, and I love having fun with them because they'll sit there and complain. They're like, "You just don't like it because old Trek is dumb and slow and boring, and the effects suck, and nobody wants that talky bullshit and blah blah blah." And I'm like, then you don't want Star Trek. Go watch Star Wars or something else. Leave Star Trek alone. It was fine the way it is.
That's a modern trend, tearing down the past to make the future look better. They did that a lot with the Ghostbusters. I remember a couple articles saying, well, the original theme song wasn't that great.
That's where they had to stretch so far, and it's true, but to make Peter look like a Bill Cosby motherfucker, because why would he have that shit just on him? Yeah, he's a doctor, but would he really be carrying Thorazine with him? Why? But overlooking that, there was nothing else wrong with that movie, so they had to find shit like the theme song to bitch about. And then what do they do for the soundtrack, Tyler?
They just repeated it all over again.
Like 10 different fucking variations on the same song. Like come on.
The rap version, the Missy Elliott version, the classic version. There's several versions of it.
No, I'm not even exaggerating. It is. It's the same song like 10 fucking times by different artists.
Oh, well, Paul Feek says, we're trying to stand on our own. We don't want to be compared to the original as everybody cameos in almost every scene.
Exactly. Why do you keep reminding us of the original then?
Same thing with the car and everything else.
Brother.
Hey, remember the firehouse in Ghostbusters? You remember how she liked it? Well, fuck you. We're not going to use it. We're going to go to this damn Chinese restaurant.
See, and I even gave them a better joke than they used in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you might have remembered listening, Mecca, when I first started bitching about Ghostbusters. I'm like, watch, there's going to be this scene where she's going to go, oh, we can't afford this place, but it has everything. Or we can't afford this place or whatever. And they'll go into the firehouse, and then they'll go to the next place, which they can afford, which is the apartment above the Chinese restaurant. And I said, you're going to have Melissa McCarthy walk in, and she goes, this place has everything. Wontons downstairs and ... Same exact thing with Ray, only in the thing. They didn't even do that.
No,
You know, they couldn't even be clever when they were trying to emulate the original at all. It's like, you know, you can kind of pull things from the past and be clever, but the only way this movie works and is predicated on the original. That's the fucking problem. We got another donation from Steele Johnson. Go ahead, Rob.
Woohoo! Steele Johnson. Steele Johnson, the Johnson of Steel. $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Just another thanks for introducing me to Doomcock and Mecha. Started with Ghost Suckers 2016, Inhumans, and STD vids. Wish Dread sequel would happen too. Well, Dread sequel, they're going to do Mega City 1, kind of, yeah.
But you know what they should do? You should market a lotion called Steele Johnson & Johnson. Polling places would love it.
But check out, if you like Judge Dredd, check out Rogue Trooper. It's from the same company, 2000 AD, same comics line, 2000 AD, and that's actually going to be getting a movie. Rogue Trooper is great. It really is. I used to read Rogue Trooper.
Show, do you think they're going to be obligated to have to reference this Stallone movie at all?
Nah. I think it's been 25 years since a Stallone movie. I mean, so
that's why Dredd worked as a good reboot, or whatever you want to call it, because the Stallone movie tanked so bad.
But all I kept hearing was that it's a is this a reboot of the Stallone movie? I'm like, that's all I heard, though. I mean, there was not enough people were able to differentiate that from the Stallone movie.
Well, that's why I fell in love on video. But
yeah. So anyway, let's see what else we got in the news. Are we done? We pretty much
fuck less. We got our piece. Yeah, I think so.
That's Julie Chen's job. So.
Ooh.
What's she gonna do now that she has really her main provider not available?
They're gonna play golf together. I mean,
they're gonna get on a yacht and run away.
You're sure about that? Are sure not gonna see her on, like, I don't know, Fifth Avenue asking people for dates?
He's got $700 million.
Well, he's worth $700 million.
So long as she's evolved.
Yeah, but he's worth
$700 million, but still.
They'll move to Miami, and he'll spend his days on the golf course, and she'll entertain her friends.
He'll pay off a bunch of these women again. It'll all go away in a few months, and like Rob said, they'll go move somewhere, and nobody will hear from him again.
Yeah, he has his investments. If he has money tied up in investments, a lot of times those stay anonymous. You know, those are anonymous donor or whatever. Right. You know.
Well, not only that, his residuals from everything would be probably more than enough to keep him and her
his
too.
His residuals or something else entirely.
Residuals were in that poor lady's mouth, and that's why he's in trouble.
Ooh. Oh, I'd like to have residuals all over my face. Ooh.
We know you do, and that's why we don't like you around here.
Michael
Keller. You don't know we're prejudiced.
Al Smith TV, the channel, visited those.
Which means we judge you before you pre-us.
Ooh! Oh my! Hello.
And if you drive a Prius, you just better drive that sumbitch right back on here.
It reminds me of West Virginia. If you drive anything less than a pickup truck, they're gonna say, "Keep going."
Is that where you're from, West Virginia? Or?
No, I live in Ohio, but I've been to West Virginia enough times.
See, I want to buy.
You're in Ohio.
See, I want to buy an Alfa Romeo, and I want to drive it to the south.
Is the most exciting thing about Ohio that it's flat?
Probably.
Yes. It is the definitive flyover country where it's like people vacation here, and I say, "What are you doing here? Like, go the other way. You can probably have more fun at home.
Get away from to go on vacation." Anyway, Rob, you were saying something about.
I want to like buy an Alfa Romeo and then drive it to the south, just have like all the good old boys just like stand around it and say, "What the hell kind of car is this? What are you doing driving this spaghetti wagon?" It says, "Well, it runs on alternative fuel, it runs on olive oil." You don't say. just like totally mess with them. Alpha Romeo, what the hell kind of car is this?
John T. Net in the house.
John T. Net into his house. They'll be all right. But from what I've heard, their spending patterns are quite extravagant for his supposed net worth. He'll need to cut back, so to speak. Don't feel bad for him. And Alpha sucks. Yeah, Alpha Romeo said before.
Well, the first thing that goes out the window is going to be the wife, and then the TV.
Whatever. She's probably the moneymaker now.
Yeah, but they probably have so much money they can live off the interest from their investments.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, residuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that money probably goes right into bank accounts, like high interest, whatever sort of CD accounts or whatever they get.
I just remember a couple years back when they had the ALS bucket challenge. She actually did it on the Big Brother, and I think it was actually Les Moonves that took out the bucket, so you can say that he got her wet on camera.
Oh. Buddy of mine actually said, if you're gonna do the ALS bucket challenge, at least be metal about it and light yourself on fire first.
I was the only one who did that fucker right. You pull out the goddamn checkbook and you write a goddamn check. That was the whole point. The ice was supposed to be a punishment. People just don't understand. I understand the interwebs better than people's. And y'all are just waiting for me to fucking die.
Oh, no, man. Picard, we love you.
Yes, you are. I know.
We might be.
You steal my money when I'm sleeping and diddle my balls. I don't mind the latter, but god damn it, I need that money for bingo.
John Tennant. Yeah, I was about to say John Tennant. Yeah, Alfa Romeo does suck, but you're not buying it because it's a quality car. You're buying it because it's stylish. That's
really
you'll be enjoying that style on a cloud of steam on the side of the highway, though.
Don't get a good car in the country. I live out in Nowheresville, and someone has a Mustang, and everybody just says, "Look at that asshole."
Mecca, you were going to say something, and then Willie Woodward actually had a good question. Go ahead, Mecca.
I was just going to tell old man Picard that there are women who will diddle your balls for bingo money.
Well, bingo money.
Mm-hmm. Wow. They'll probably give you their bingo money.
Can you email me this information? I have a Twitters.
No, just go outside in front of the bingo halls.
Wow.
You know, Willie Woodward has been proven that Moonves coerced or threatened any of the women.
Well, here's the thing with that, and then Rob can take this and anybody else who wants to. From my understanding, and this is with nothing in front of me right now, you've had several women that have accused him of very similar activity. You have a lot of cover-up activity. You have emails, and I believe there's emails and there's a bunch of payouts. Not only that, there's other people who have had similar payouts and cover-ups, and they were supposedly done by Moonves himself or overseen by Moonves himself. Rob?
Yeah, it's about true. I mean, there are some casting couch allegations. What was that girl Billy Roberts? What was her name?
There's a few actually, that are still acting, I believe. But yeah, and the most famous one I think is
Bobby Phillips. Bobby Phillips is her name. I mean, so that's actually one of the more pronounced cases. So
this was more of a, I mean, I don't think there's going to be any charges if that's what you're asking, because a lot of this stuff kind of is beyond, as far as I know, all of it's beyond statute of limitations. But what you have here is that he didn't get this payout from CBS because their investigation found that he had wrongdoing on his part and justified their firing him without giving him any money for doing so. And I don't think he's set for any kind of court dates or anything like that, is he? I mean, that I know. I don't think there's been any charges for anybody actually, as far as like the state or anything getting involved with investigation. But
this has all been internal. This has all been internal.
And that's where thinks he has, and he probably does have some grounds for suing as far as like some of the leaks and stuff, but what are you going to do on that part? And it doesn't make it not true. So he can sue CBS all he wants. This is something that's probably going to get drug out for a long time.
I got to explain this for Michael Keller in the comments.
Wow, we got a few of the.
I'm not kidding. There's like 7 upcoming Robin Hood movies. There's like Robin Hood sequel, Robin Hood 3000.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Maid Marian, played by Margot Robbie. There's a lot of upcoming movies.
Well, public domain.
John Tennant. John Tennant with another $100 Hong Kong super chat. Mecca, the way he spends $700 million USD can be blown through in a decade, especially if money management fails, like his leadership. CBS yacht maintenance isn't cheap. P.S. Maserati and Jag are greater alpha than style, but bad cars. Who do you think owns Maserati? Fiat Chrysler owns Maserati. And Alfa
right. They don't see money the way broke people see money. They see money as like, oh, what am I going to do? I can't spend my, I can't go on my $10,000 a night vacation.
But again, this isn't something that he's really going to be missing out on. Truthfully.
Yep. Here's the article I was looking for. It was we have Robin Hood, originally called Robin Hood Origins, a version from Sony called The Hood, said to be like Mission Impossible.
Oh god.
A Disney remake of their Robin Hood called Nottingham and Hood.
Of course they're remaking their Robin Hood.
See you guys later.
Now
Maid Marian, the vigilante killer, played
Look what
by
you did, Disney.
Robbie.
Look what you did. You broke Todd.
And then the upcoming ones are
Princess Pinocchio. Now it's that
Robin Hood 2058 and Robin Hood and the Prince of Aragon.
Should I label this a separate discussion, Robin Hood?
Robin Hood 2058 apparently is Robin Hood is a rogue MI5 agent on a mission to avenge injustice against England.
Oh my god.
These are all real movies.
My favorite version of Robin Hood. They couldn't just leave it the fuck alone.
Well, Disney's been wanting to do a Robin Hood series like Pirates of the Caribbean. They've been wanting to do that for the last few years.
And ask him how the fucking Lone Ranger turned out.
and John Carter.
Well, at least John Carter was decent. That was just a misfire. Fucking Lone Ranger was like bad on all accounts. And thank you so much, Wolverine fangirl, who's actually Sarah. She gave us a $2 donation. CBS gave me an early Christmas present. You and us both, if you mean you or me. Emmy is in Midnight's Edge. I'm sure this will get a little bit of mileage out of this one.
CBS,
hey Sarah, hope you're doing good.
If you want to get me a birthday present, my birthday's in February, CBS. Tell me in February that Discovery is canceled. I would love the crap out of you and be very appreciative, and I would do a CBS promo video.
I'm with Vincent. Just stick with Mel Brooks or the Disney version of Robin Hood.
Robin Hood, Little John, walking through the forest.
I have that soundtrack. That's how much I love that movie.
I have that movie on DVD and Blu-ray.
I always think of the one joke like, look, it's a Jew. A Jew? It's like, no, it's a Jew.
But
Men in Tights is good too, yeah.
But the whole thing, Robin Hood, we get a new Robin Hood movie every few years. I mean, it can't be just because it's public domain. I mean,
it's seen as a lot of these other characters in that it's something that's bankable because people know it.
But it's not really bankable because every new movie flops.
True, they don't see that part of it.
What was the last Robin Hood movie that made money? Was it
probably Kevin Costner's or maybe I think Russell Crowe's might have squeaked a little bit.
I don't know if the Russell Crowe movie made any money. Yeah, let me double check that real quick.
It might have cost too much. That's very
plausible. I don't think the Russell Crowe one made that much. I did see.
I think it did better of all the other ones, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thunderdance.
Have to go back to Men in Tights or fucking Kevin Costner's, which Men in Tights was more so a parody of.
Yeah, Thunderdance, the Action Man, Robin Hood, and Sherlock Holmes are public domain. So is King Arthur, actually.
No, it didn't make much money. It had a budget of $200 million and only made $300.
That's what I thought. I knew it cost quite a bit. That was the problem. So yeah, it didn't make any money, but
nope,
it wasn't a complete loss, washout, whatever. But it was not good.
There was a Malaysian movie called Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves in 2009.
Let's move on. We got a little bit of the news.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the Redstones. Speaking of CBS, tell us about this, Rob. Sumner Redstone no longer has control over his. Well, he does, but he has a guardian ad litem, or however you call it, or a lawyer overlooking his estate now.
Yes, I turned the company over to my dear sweet daughter, Sherry. She's a good. Is Matlock on yet? I like that Matlock. Somebody.
Matlock's dead, sir.
That old man Picard fellow, look, he sounds kind of nice. Let's give him a show.
I remember when you gave me a show a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, you did. I did. When was that?
Well,
did you have
generation.
Did you have the soup in the Paramount commissary? That's actually good soup.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Very good.
Oh, very good.
I liked the girl that served the soup more.
Oh, how is that Deanna Troy? She's still got nice boobies.
Yes.
Oh, very good.
Not motorboat worthy, but yes.
I liked her boobies. She used to come see me in my office. I said, I think I have a photon torpedo in my pants. Would you mind checking? And she would say,
oh, I've used that one a few times.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's a good one. That always works, doesn't it? So Sumner Redstone and Old Man Picard sharing some memories from the Paramount backlog.
Is that true? Marina Sturgis probably still had more fun with Old Man Picard than Michael Winner.
Oh.
Did you ever see that Family Guy outtake? Now he's pouring lemonade on my face? That's not lemonade. Jordy. What, Mr. Wolf 5. I'll be in my ready room. So anyway, Sumner Redstone's speech impairment warrants a legal guardian, judge rules. Hollywood Reporter. The court Monday granted a request from the mogul's grandson to appoint a guardian ad litem to look out for Redstone's best interest. Media mogul Sumner Redstone will have an independent attorney looking out for his interests during his legal fight with a former companion. Manuela Herzer launched the legal battle in 2015 after she was kicked out of Redstone's mansion and removed as the person in charge of his healthcare directive. Since then, the fight has exploded on multiple fronts. It now includes a Redstone suit against Herzer and his former fiance, Sydney Holland, accusing the women of elder abuse, and claims by the women that the mogul's daughter, Sherry Redstone, enlisted household staff to spy on Herzer and Holland in an effort to push them out of her father's life. The key issues across various litigation are whether Redstone had the mental capacity necessary to make those changes to his estate plans and if he's susceptible to undue influence. They put their boobies in my face and influenced me. That's how.
Side note, the top story about FBI finds serial killer has the exact same expression as Sumner Redstone.
Really?
He does.
Oh, man. That's kind of scary. So anyway, Judge David Cowan on Monday granted Redstone's grandson, Tyler Korf's petition for a guardian ad litem, but stopped well short of declaring that Redstone lacks capacity to make his own decisions. Instead, it's Redstone's severe speech impediment that forms the basis of his ruling. The court is finding that Mr. Redstone's is incapacitated not because of being incompetent, but rather because of his dysarthria. I believe that's how it's pronounced, said Cowan, explaining that it makes no sense to require a finding of incapacity to appoint a guardian ad litem. He also found he does not yet need to determine the level of Redstone's dementia. Okay, Cowan on Monday denied with leave to amend Herzer's request that an independent doctor examine Redstone. The court found it unnecessary now that the guardian ad litem will be looking out for the 95-year-old mogul's interests. Samuel Ingham, who oversees Britney Spears' conservatorship, will be appointed subject to his consent and availability. Judge Cowan makes clear he doesn't want a delay of trial unless it's absolutely necessary. And if Ingram is too busy, then we need to reconvene. Trial is currently set to begin in January. So, poor old guy, you know.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Poor old 95 bastard.
Yeah, he's as bad as fucking Moonves. We've heard stories ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you that Les Moonves and I, we We used to go down to the Real Hotel. Ava Gardner was there. I tell you, that's if she was divorced from Frank Sinatra, and she was one horny mama. Let me tell you, that's what the kids say now.
I'll tell you this right now. I don't like you too much, so I'm gonna go over there.
Oh,
it's nice meeting you.
Go hang out with Nancy, not Nancy, Ray Gigan.
No, there's this guy who butt rapes goats. I'd rather talk to him. See?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Nancy Sinatra. Oh, those boots were.
I don't give a shit.
Those boots were made for walking, and they walked all over my balls. I used to like that, you know.
That's why I don't like you. You're creepy. You look like a guy from Poltergeist 2.
Yeah, Big Gator 5 says. Big Gator 5 says this is interesting, and I feel for the guy, but why should we care? Well, because of Star Trek. he's head of Viacom.
Why does this matter? Because there's a big power shift here, right, Rob?
Yeah, that's the thing. This is at the whole heart of.
Well, because not only that, doesn't the article kind of insinuate that his kids kind of have control over this lawyer?
Yeah, it does. Like I said, it's a power thing, and sure, Redstone she was the one leading the charge to get a hold of CBS. And I don't want to say it's looking like she's trying to push the old man out, but she's trying to it's starting to
out the door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. National Amusements does own it owns CBS, but CBS is its own company, really. Viacom and CBS are
see
two
previous Midnight's Edge videos if you really want to get into the in and outs.
Yeah, National Amusements has a stake in CBS, but it doesn't own it outright. So, National Amusements, they used to own Showcase Cinemas. Man, what happened to that? Jeez.
I think they had to get rid of them when they bought Paramount, didn't they?
I think you might be right.
Because you cannot own a studio and a theater. I don't.
Oh yeah. Antitrust. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Johnson, that's right. They're going to be hoarding money. So
does this mean that National Amusements, all the rights are going to go to Sherry? Because Sumner has only 80% of the rights.
Probably. This is for people who know more.
Well, she's already been going on to, she's already been trying for a power play for a while. That's what we've been covering here. And she already got one out of the way with Moonves. That was one of her big adversaries. So that was a big win for her. The downside was the penalty is that she has to wait 2 years to start talking about any kind of merger talk. But that's going to go by fast.
Oh, yeah. I have a feeling that there's I shouldn't say no doubt, but it's looking more and more favorable that there's going to be a CBS Viacom merger on some level.
It's just not going to happen for 2 years.
Yeah. 2020, you'll start. By this time, 2020, you'll be hearing rumblings about a merger. And actually, I was reading this thing about Bob Backus. He's got a plan to turn around Viacom. Remember that guy I would talk about?
Yeah, I seen an older article about him a little bit ago when we were doing some of our research. And
oh yeah, him.
Yeah. So
I don't know him from a hole in the wall, so it's
no, but he was always a major player in this, and even though he hasn't been lately, he's still a name that's involved in this whole thing.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm not sure what else to say about this, but
it's just one of those things. Now we have to see what they do from here on out, kind of thing. And unless you guys have anything to add to it, Mecca or Tyler.
I can add that I'm pretty sure Sherry's going to pull the plug on him literally pretty soon. Yeah, it's like, I love you, Dad, but we need to do this.
No, it's just from everything like that we've been hearing about her, she really seems like she's just sliding her foot into the door in any possible point. And she kind of reminds me of like the girlfriend who's like leaving her stuff slowly at her boyfriend's apartment, and before you know it, oh boom, she's already there.
As true as that may be, she's already in her 60s, Rob, right?
Yeah, she's in her 60s.
That's the thing. This guy's older than dirt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to talk all rights, if he plans on passing this down to the family, she's the one who's generally the face of the company anyway.
Yeah.
Good point. Is that a raccoon on his head?
Maybe. Rocket's got to have shit to do in the meantime. Motherfucker's got to eat.
He's already half dead. Why not?
You think them Guardians movies pay all my rent?
It's just on the garbage can.
Besides, it's a warm seat.
Hey, nice cushy place you got here. Nice cushy place you got here.
Oh, no, sorry. No, it's a tribble that you didn't feed for like 2 weeks.
Some of the originals from the 60s.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the original trolls. Yeah.
Made of real asbestos.
I love that. I do love that scene though in Trouble with Tribbles. McCoy comes in. Jim, I figured it out. We just have to stop feeding them. He's up to his deck. All right. Well, I don't have anything.
That's how you kill anything.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that they never actually use the tribbles on STDs when talking about someone who's not human.
It'll come.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the
that's something I think they have to ask for.
Yeah. Well, Lorca had a tribble on his desk.
No, wait. That was something I think that CBS did own. But we have that problem with the stupid fucking contract, which hopefully is up next year just in time for the Picard show.
Mm-hmm.
So his bed's going to be made out of tribbles by then.
Yes. Old Man Picard, did you like tribbles?
I have a tribble jacket.
Really? How many tribbles did that take to make?
276 and then 17 for the tie. The matching tie.
Are you sure they're not just in your pants?
Maybe. But I like them there.
They do purr, I suppose.
Yes, they do.
Beverly Crusher once told me that she saw you in tribble underwear. Is that
what I do? Is yes, and then I walk close to Worf.
Oh, really?
Because they don't like Klingons.
So it's next to your Andorian jacket?
Yes, but I have boots that go with that. This, though, it's interesting because I'll get close to Worf and I'll pick on Worf. And the more agitated he gets, the more animated they get. And it's just fun. It's just so much fun.
Now, Old Man Picard, is there any truth to the rumor that you gave Beverly Crusher a tribble nightie one year for Christmas?
I cannot confirm or deny that.
No. Oh.
Well, they do purr.
They do purr, yes.
So does Crusher.
Oh, yes, she does, doesn't she? So anyway.
I like them redheads.
Yes, you do. Yes. Yeah. Did you ever motorboat those?
I cannot confirm or deny that.
Damn it. I want some dirt from the TNG set. I'm not getting it.
Federation 8 art does not let you answer that question.
She has dark nipples.
Dark. It's kind of
some of them are pink, some of them are brown, some of them are more flesh colored.
Yes.
Wait, I'm not. Can we talk about this later?
Okay, we'll talk about it.
I'll get sued.
Does the Federation have an HR division?
Yes. Trust me. They're assholes.
We need to animate Old Man Picard. We really do.
Yes.
We do.
And Ryan Johnson, Cartman.
And the X-Men.
And X-Men.
Oh, actually, at the end of my, I did a review for Into the Spider-Verse. I did slip in a "fuck you, Ryan Johnson" at the end. So I'm glad the tradition continues. Okay, so anyway, Old Man Picard. Should we move on to the next story? We said on.
Yes, we've got Netflix.
Yes, Netflix has said they are not responsible for the death of cinema.
Well, they didn't say it. A study did.
Well,
we'll get into this. Yeah, go ahead.
Steven Spielberg showed the death of cinema.
I'm pretty sure they're pretty happy about that.
Yes and no, and we'll get into that here. Yeah. It'll probably work out for him.
Yeah, well, I dropped my notepad. Damn it!
Quit doing that.
I don't know. Okay, it's time to play We Love News. Okay, where should we get this story from? Slash Films.
I gave you the variety one in the comments.
Okay. Ooh, the CBC. Let's go. We haven't got news out of Canada. Let's do that.
They spell better in Canada.
Well, they're more polite about it.
The newspapers just cost a little more.
Isn't that Comic Book Cast or something like that? Or
okay, okay. They got a picture of Shuri. This is gonna sound mean. I'm glad she was a victim of the decimation. Okay, so just shut the fuck up about her for a little while, please. Shuri's the smartest character in the MCU. Shut up. Not for long. Movie. Reed Richards is on his way. Not for long. So, God, I'm sick of hearing this shit. Okay, Netflix isn't killing movie theaters and could even be helping them. Study. The message here is that there is not a war between streaming and theatrical, says Theater Association. Netflix became a streaming juggernaut. Many prophesized that it would be the death knell for movie theaters. Now, because it's from the CBC, do I have to say A at the end of every sentence?
Yes. And also buddy and friend.
Okay. After all, people would have access to thousands of movies and TV shows, and for a fraction, the cost of seeing movies in those in theaters, eh?
Guy.
Why wouldn't they just stay home, guy?
Hey, friend.
I'm not your buddy, guy.
I'm not your buddy, friend.
But a new study commissioned by the National Association of Theater Owners, the Washington-based Industry Association for Owners of Movie Theaters, that's pretty obvious, says that Netflix and other big streaming sites may actually be helping, not hindering, movie houses. Conducted by EY's Quantitative Economics and Statistics Group, the new study surveyed 2,500 people in November, 80% of whom had seen at least one film in theaters over the past year. They also looked at respondents' streaming habits as well as their age range and demographics. What they found defied conventional wisdom, or at least convention fears. The more people streamed, the more likely they were to also see films in theaters. For example, respondents who went to theaters 9 times or more over the past year consumed at least 10 hours of streaming a week, whereas those who only went to multiplexes once or twice a year streamed just 7 hours of online TV and films. Of the people who didn't see any movies in theaters over the past year, nearly half also said they didn't stream any online content, and just 18% said they streamed 8 hours or more per week. The message here is that there's not a war between streaming and theatrical. Phil Contrino, director of media and research at NATO, told Variety. People who love content are watching it across platforms, and all platforms have place in consumers' minds.
Wait, NATO, so Trump's going to try to stop it?
Look, NATO is destroying movies, okay? We have to stop NATO. They're destroying movies as we know them. We have to protect the theaters, all right? It's important. You're going to get wonderful theaters, beautiful, better than anything could ever happen, okay?
And also re-release Home Alone 2. To
yes,
every
Home Alone 2.
And that movie.
Starring me and that lovable Macaulay Culkin.
Can we have a double feature? Can we compromise? Can it be Home Alone 1 and 2?
No, it'll be Home Alone 2 and the Little Rascals.
No, it has to be Home Alone 2, okay? Because I have the greatest cameo of all time in Home Alone 2, okay?
But what if people want to see both movies together? If they've never seen Home Alone and they want to see Home Alone first before they see the second movie?
Well, I said,
I want to know is when are you home alone?
Oh, Old Man Picard.
Well, you got to be direct.
Yes, you do.
Disney Direct.
Not all women can read your emotions, you know.
Aquaman's gonna be huge. I said to Aquaman, you got a place under the sea. You could really use a Trump Tower here. So I said I'm gonna give you a penthouse under the water. But how's it gonna work? Okay, He's Aquaman. He's gonna get stuck under that little pirate's chest with the bubbles. Okay, all right, it's just not gonna work.
You could say it's under the sea.
Just don't kiss the girl.
No. Oh Jesus.
We'll get into that maybe later in the end.
So anyway,
but yeah, let's get back to Netflix.
Okay, the study shows that teens after our lame attempt at comedy. So the study shows that teens are still flocking to theaters watching streamed flicks, with respondents aged 13 to 17 going to theaters on average of 7.3 times a year and streaming 9.2 hours a week, the highest level of any group. Seniors over 72 tied the 13 to 17-year-old crowd for their theater-going average, averaging 7.3 times a year, but streamed less than 7.5 hours a week. The age bracket
that'll be important later. Oh, sorry.
Is that why all the movies kind of feel like they're made halfway for people in their 70s and halfway for like people that are 13?
We'll get into that. I was gonna say there's a reason for that. We're gonna break these down just a little bit here when Rob's done. Yeah.
Okay. The age bracket least likely to go to the theaters was respondents aged 18 to 37 who visited theaters just 6 times a year but streamed 8.6 hours of content, which marked the third highest level. Of the time people spent streaming, 40% was dedicated to movies, 45% to TV series, 15% to other sports, comedy, specials, etc.
18 to 39. That's not right. Those are the only assholes that go to theaters in my area.
So anyway, it gives there's more. Okay, this year's banner year box office, blah blah blah. Okay, nobody cares. All right. So anyway, you're about to say, Tom.
Well, we're going to break down the numbers here, but just first of all, let's go through everybody and see, why do you think that, contrary to popular belief, Netflix and streaming isn't really affecting theater going at all? Rob, let's start with you.
Because things like IMAX, I'm thinking. I probably don't have a good answer. Because of Marvel, really. What do you guys think? Marvel's been doing things like that, and plus, another thing too is that you still have pretty shitty internet all over America, and internet is expensive in a lot of places.
Well, let me put it to you this way though, because theater owners and stuff have been really arguing against day and date releases with theaters and streaming, and in most theaters won't carry movies that are the multi releases where they'll release them on streaming and in some theaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's only some theaters because most theaters won't take them because they're already streaming. And how that is affecting that argument, and how much closer do you think this might be getting us to something, say like what the hell is it, Showbox or whatever that thing was going to be called that they were talking about, where you actually get to see movies day and date that they come out in theaters, and you get this box and it costs like $50 a movie or whatever. Looking at it from that perspective is kind of where I was coming from.
Okay, yeah. Anybody?
Laziness, maybe? Some people just don't want to wait for it to get on streaming after like 6 months. They just want to watch it now.
Well, there's such a high turnover, though. I mean, 3 months. Oh, you gotta wait 3 months, maybe sometimes 6
yeah,
weeks.
by then though, okay, so think of it for like your average sort of YouTube audience. You're pretty much over and done with a movie once it's out of the theater, because everybody you watch on YouTube who does reviews and reactions will have already done the review and the reaction to that movie the day, like the day of the preview day. So you don't want to wait 3 months to watch a movie that you've just already gotten spoiled by everybody on the internet too.
This is kind of hilarious though, because 3 month waiting time from a release to DVD was actually considered controversial 8 years ago. England almost rose up against the original Alice in Wonderland movie because of this. Now nobody cares.
Right, I was going to get it, and that's a big part of what I'm going to get into in just a second. But first, we got to say this: Steele Johnson, thank you so much. That's my stripper cash. That $2 that gets me both boobs.
It's $1 each.
Have you ever tried hanging out with that thing from Total Recall with the 3?
It's expensive, but yes, that's $3. But yeah, okay, so about this whole Netflix thing, this is my point of view on this, and of course I could be totally wrong. And this kind of gets into the breakdown a little bit of the whole demographic area. First of all, as Tyler was bringing up, is the release window has shortened drastically, especially in the last few years, and streaming is a big part of it. So I don't think streaming is affecting that so much, because also Netflix and all these other, I'm going to call them more freemium channels, because, Vudu and stuff, you usually got to pay for everything. Amazon, you can get free things with Prime, but you got to pay for other subscriptions and whatnot. As far as these other channels go, they don't normally get the first run movies right away. Only certain movies, not every movie, so you're not always going to be able to punch up the brand new movie every time without having to rent it on Vudu or rent it on Amazon, is what I'm getting at, because you don't necessarily have it free right away, freemium or whatever, to you right away on Netflix. So there's that aspect of it as well. As far as the older people going to movies, that is something I've noticed a big trend rising in lately, and that's probably because it's one of the few affordable things that they can do anymore. And especially when the theaters will do like $5 senior Tuesdays and stuff like that. I've seen a lot more older couples in movies now than I used to. And I do think there is kind of a cross demographic there where they are, and that's part of it, where they're trying to just, every movie now is trying to reach every single audience, no matter what, which for some movies that isn't a bad thing, but for most movies it is a bad thing.
I hope those old people that went to see movies at DC didn't think they were going to walk into like the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Exactly. And don't think that they weren't a big reason why some of those movies have lightened up too. Because you got to remember, it's just, we're not the only people who go to see these movies. And we're in that demographic there that it sounds like we do more streaming than we actually do going to the theater. And that's where Rob, I think, come in and said something about, like the Marvel movies. And that's why we, in our demographic, only go to big movies. We don't go out to more ancillary movies very often, because when we spend our money on these movies, we make sure it's worth it. We're the type of people who will generally wait for video, and that's something that they totally have left out of this argument at all. And I think is a big part, because even though physical media is dying, the demographics that are still buying it are our demographic and older.
There's also the problem that not everything's going to be on Netflix.
Exactly, and that's where we lost Rob there, it looks like.
I'm still waiting on an AMC show called The Terror. I believe Doomcock really liked it. It never showed up on Netflix.
And that's what I was saying, is like more people our age, we know what we want to see, and we will go buy it or rent it or whatever from a Redbox or whatever instead of...
Yeah. If it's like $20 to buy the complete season or series, sometimes box set on Amazon, versus like $20 just to get Stars for the month, or Showtime or whatever, for 2 months to watch the thing. I mean, you just buy the physical media a lot of times.
Yeah, and about independent movies, there's always something you want to see, but they're never near you. In fact, for example, I think it was this month, a movie called The Favorite came out. I kind of want to see that, but it's nowhere near me. It's the only time you're ever going to see Rachel Weisz, Olivia Colman, and Emma Stone be lesbians.
Yeah, but it's like Victorian lesbians, though, so...
It's still lesbians, though.
Hey, Victorian lesbians are hot. There's a whole Twitter handle I follow that's all Victorian porn.
Only you would know that.
Of course I would.
I say, this is such tales of ribaldry going on about here. So,
the lady doth protest too much.
Oh, boot black. Oh, we have a new boot black. So.
Be fair, it seems like a good movie in general. It's just like someone tried to sell me on Facebook once as it's the movie where Emma Stone is a nude and a lesbian. That's all he tried to sell me as. Why not?
In a world where Emma Stone is a lesbian.
In a world where Emma Stone has sapphic tendencies. And who was the other? Rachel Weisz.
Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Do you all think luxury theaters might also factor in big suits, big screens, and beer? Actual food survives our parenting. Keep up the good work. I'm not sure what he means with the last part, but hey, anyway, no, that's a big factor too, because not only do you have that, you have to where people can get assigned seating and where you pre-buy your seat.
Oh yeah, I like that.
That squeezes out people with families more, so don't want to spend that kind of money. You don't have to worry about the younger teens and the bullshit.
Actually, Robert April's right. It's not Victorian. It's, I guess, Anne-ish, because it was Queen Anne of England in the 1700s. Whatever. I'm too much of a history nut.
Mecca, what were you going to say there? Sorry.
I totally forgot.
Has any of you actually had dinner at a movie theater? I did that once, and only once.
Does a Rocky Rococo's with Bugs Bunny playing count?
No.
It was a big screen.
There used to be a place
projector thing.
There used to be a place near me called Milford Pub and Cinema, and way back, I think in 1993, I saw Dragon, the Bruce Lee story there. It's So
and I only had it once. It was a mall theater not too far from me that actually serves food. I asked for spaghetti and meatballs in the middle of a small indie film, and it was kind of awkward because the lady showed up halfway through the movie when it became a cancer drama.
Well, and here's something else, a point I was going to make, and I didn't really bring up families too much in that. I think families are one of the parts that are doing more streaming than going to theaters now than they used to, and I think Spider Curse, and this reminds me that we forgot to talk box office again.
But we'll talk. We'll do it. We'll do it just a second here.
But this reminds me of Spider Curse and how even though it's getting rave reviews from everybody but us, is
you mean Curse of the Spider Woman?
No, Spider Curse.
I know
the Spider Curse. Yeah, yeah, I know. But that's the next one with Gwen. But anyway, as I was saying, is that I think it shows that only making $37 million at the box office this weekend, and they're trying to make it out like it's some big deal. But
I read actually 35 in my local paper. But anyway.
Regardless, but yeah, we'll get into that when we get to box office. But my point I'm getting to is I don't think families are going to theaters as much as they used to.
Well, it's too
people
expensive.
Aren't going in yeah, it's too expensive, and people aren't in general just because there isn't the movies to get them out to go.
I'll sum it up like the last Disney movie I saw in theaters. It was mostly people in their 20s and 30s. There wasn't a lot of kids there.
Well, yeah, and look what happened like when I tried to go and see Halloween. You know, you had some idiot there, just people talking really loud, trying to record the movie.
And that
all
wasn't
that
kids,
crap.
that was like adults.
Yeah, that wasn't kids, that was like adults too. And that's kind of why I think a lot of people our age, we just don't want to put up with that crap. If we're spending our money instead of on like groceries for the week or whatever, a lot of people, like myself included, we have really tight budgets sometimes where you have to choose between, okay, do I eat ramen for a week or do I go to a movie, you know, or you know, whatever. So
well, and that's something a lot of, you know, people our age down through recent graduates are dealing with is what am I going to spend my money on this time? And that's why we stream more than we do go to movies, I think is what the study said. And that's a big part of this, I think, is when we do decide to go to a movie, we try to make it worthwhile. You know, and that's why we generally only go to see the Avengers or, you know, whatever, Black Panther, whatever the biggest movie is this year, you know. So it's like, that's why we do that. And also there's not these movies that carry on and have legs like they used to. Like outside of Avengers and Black Panther, the other recent ones are what? Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah, movie trying to be like Titanic and be there a whole year. That's just not happening.
Not again.
No. Well, even Star Wars, like the only movie that could have been in the theater for months and months and months on end was Star Wars.
The legs got cut out from underneath that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. And I remember like Black Panther was still in the theater when Infinity War came out. Yeah, but that was still only what, like 3 months, right? Like from February to May.
But that thing had legs like crazy, though.
I think The Last Jedi lasted until April, and then it got cut out.
But I think that's more so because of, the thing with Star Wars movies is Lucasfilm, I think, carried over a lot of the same practices. And when you take those movies, you're assigned to take them for so long, no matter how they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably had to keep them some bitches that long. Like they had no choice.
Otherwise, Madam Kathy's going to friggin' kneecap your ass.
Yeah.
Well, George is a real stickler about that. Sorry, Rob.
No. I was about to say, if you take a look at Roundhead, Roundhead Ryan Johnson, he's already been kneecapped. Isn't that right, Roundhead?
Nobody kneecaps me. I'm awesome. I'm still making my trilogy. I don't know what you're talking about. You're fake news. You're fake news, man.
You know what should have been obvious that Ryan Johnson has a bit of a thin skin? I believe he was one of the first people that CinemaSins offended in like 2013.
I don't have thin skin. I'm just big boned.
Like, no, sweetie, we just say that because you're fat.
What?
Yep.
And you got a shitty little beard.
I'm sure it's not a clip. I'm sure it wasn't like a penciled on beard.
No.
And your head's a perfect circle.
Yeah.
What? No.
Did somebody looks like somebody put a mad ball on a tiny little body right there. You notice mad balls?
A Wilson.
I'm make my Star Wars movie.
I say Wilson volleyball was brought to life with voodoo.
Tim Augustin, yes. Damn it, I missed $5 super chat. Thank you. Damn it, missed Moonves bashing. Start over. Oh, and I don't think I forgot you weaseled Andre out of rapping about Judge Dredd that other stream.
Oh no, we didn't. He talked about it, unless he must have left early. Sorry.
I told you.
Yeah, I don't know how much he talked about it so much, but
I told you I will go into great detail about that. We can't really say. But anyway, Thunder Dandy Axeman. Ryan Johnson doesn't have the knees to cap. Short mofo. Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Does Norway even have rappers? Does Bjorn count?
I don't know. Oh boy. All right. So anyway, like we said, going to movies.
I know he's a big Prodigy fan. That's not really rap, but it's not singing either.
Ryan Johnson is Caillou. Holy shit, he is.
Oh,
I had to watch that as a kid.
He really wants to hear Andre rap. I don't know if Andre would do that.
I am Andre from Midnight's Edge. All you mother effers. I don't know. I'm terrible at rap. She's like, yo.
Straight out of Oslo, I'm one bad mofo.
I'm one
Viking.
I'm a bad mother Viking. So anyway. Yeah, so like
you don't
movies
like how I rap. Well, you don't want to hear me sing because I'm one big bad Viking. There you go. That's all the Andre I'm doing because I don't want to get shot.
You sound eerily like the Reaper from Bill and Ted.
He'll run you through with a
Don't overlook my butt. Reaping burns lots of calories.
You sunk my battleship.
All right. So anyway, going to movies exponentially worse experience, especially has anybody ever had anybody bring like a Subway sandwich into the movies and had to deal with that? Guys got big rapper now.
No, I just get it when they get like the giant pizza boxes from the
I wish that I snuck some shit into Smiter Curse or whatever the fuck you want to call it, because there was nobody else in the theater. That's what we're getting to here. Yeah,
I have a giant purse. I usually bring in like a drink and some snacks and whatever. I never do that. Never.
The worst I ever do is just like, I don't know, pack of crackers. That's about it.
So yeah, what do you guys out in the chat think about?
Wait, crackers? You get crackers at the movie?
Not too often.
Like saltines?
No, like goldfish.
Like okay, goldfish.
Crackers or, peanut butter crackers.
I like Ritz crackers.
Those Ritz bastards are so loud.
I'm in the pocket of Big Cracker, I always say.
I like to put a dab of cheese on it, and it looks like a nipple. Or a
still not as bad as when I saw The Revenant. I had to sit next to some guy who probably had like lung cancer.
Oh, that's usually me.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Rob, get out of Ohio.
So speaking of people not going to the movies.
Yeah, let's get to the box office.
Because they've been trying to spin this. I've been reading actually that I don't know where, I think I read on the Facebook group that Into the Spider-Verse or whatever needed to make at least $50 million in its opening weekend to stand a chance at turning a profit. It came up way short. So
like 35 short.
Yeah. And actually it's the excuses are starting to roll in. Okay, Wheel of News. Where are we gonna
let me guess. Telepathically, it is we were not ready enough for a black Spider-Man and people are racist.
I've actually had people call me racist on
they're already Discuss because it's the biggest December opening for an animated movie. But let's just ignore the fact that Wreck-It Ralph in its third week last weekend made almost as much as this movie did in its first.
Yeah, Asterix. Anyway. I'm pretty sure not a lot of animated movies get made in December. It's always November.
That's not totally true. Sometimes Disney used to put out an animated movie in December, but rarely. That generally they would save their live action movie for Christmas. That's
we check that. That doesn't sound right.
Normally they put their summer the animated movie in the summer, but I think there's been a few exceptions. But normally it's like with this year with Mary Poppins, they generally do a live action movie for the winter time. So, but I'd have to double check everything too. Yeah, but we got the actuals here in front of us. It only did 35 million as opposed to some of the 37 that some were reporting, Rob. So what do you take away from all this? And he's muted. So I'm going to keep going.
I'm going to take away is week.
Yeah. It kind of did exactly. It came in exactly where we kind of thought it was going to come in, where they were predicting. And actually, I was listening to Monday Match Channel, and he was saying, that's for a Spider-Man movie. That's not a whole lot of money.
No, and that's what I've been fucking saying. Look at what Wreck-It Ralph did. It's made almost 150. It's made over 150 million dollars already in the U.S. Or is that total growth worldwide?
Yeah,
I don't think it's worldwide.
No, it's not worldwide.
That is worldwide?
No, it is not. They made like an 85 million opening weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say. And the fact that Ralph can make more than a Spider-Man movie says a lot.
There are a few asterisks we should add, like the fact that it's not Peter Parker and it's coming from Sony's animation division. Last year they made the Emoji movie. They have a reputation issue at that studio.
But most people don't know that, okay? And this is an animated movie, and if they're thinking they're going to have some major boosts next weekend, they're fucked. Because they've got a ton of competition coming out.
Yeah, DC and Disney.
Yeah. Mary Poppins and Aquabro.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit real quick before we get back to Spider-Verse. Let's look at Deadpool. Deadpool only did 2 million, thank God.
Oh my God.
Well, 3 million overall, but
oh wow.
Can we please put this whole idea of a PG-13
Deadpool behind us?
Yes, please.
It's a terrible idea, but it is going to a cancer charity, so I can't be too angry.
Part I have no issue with, but to me that was almost like a fuck you kind of thing. Like that's a mean way of getting around it. Like, if you want to be fair about this, let's be fair about this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad they're doing that. Please don't get me wrong.
You know what? I'll see it when it premieres on FX in like a 6 months period.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just kind of they got to do something with that Blu-ray to make me buy it again. Because I wasn't as big of a fan of the second one anyway.
Yeah, I was iffy on it.
I thought it was good. I mean, everything happened that we heard about in the leak, though.
Yeah, that was the disappointing part.
Right, I'm sure I would have liked it more hadn't I known all that, but the kid really killed it for me.
Oh my God.
What?
I was told the best scene in the movie, the X-Force scene, is barely even in this cut.
They cut out all the good stuff?
So yeah, they cut out the X-Force scene, the part where they're all jumping.
That's the whole point, and that's what I was trying to get. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, Tyler, but that's the thing. This is a PG-13 cut of this Deadpool 2, and the only thing they're adding to it is this wraparound stuff with the Princess Bride gimmick with Fred Savage, and it's like, I get part of it. They're doing it for charity, but no. Let's talk about what this is really about. This is really about testing the waters to see if people will go see a PG-13 Deadpool with their kids. Now, they're going to use part of the excuses. Oh, well, of course, we opened it against Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it did only open on like a third of the screens as Spider-Verse, but still. Look at the Mule, though. That only opened on 2,500 screens, and that did 17 million against Spider-Verse.
You were right. People want to see Old Man Clint every single time.
That's right. People want to see me. That's right. Old Man Clint. They want to see the Mule. The Mule on theaters near you. Yes.
Right. And then I've said before about Deadpool, the only way the PG-13 Deadpool is going to work is when you put him in other movies, not his own movies. If you put him in another movie that is PG-13, then you can play with the PG-13 bit, but that joke is only going to last for about 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the budget. This only made $600,000 more than the Emma Stone lesbian movie, and that has a lot less theaters going for it.
So you know what's sad? I was gonna take my mother to see that movie, and now I'm like thinking, okay, I did not realize it was like a lesbian movie. I thought it was just a stupid, goofy like chick flick.
Well. Here's the thing: it's a comedy drama, but it's about Queen Anne, who was said to be a lesbian. So,
because I mean, it looks interesting either way. It looks way better than Into the Spider-Verse.
Wait,
and the Mule.
By the guy who
did
the Lobsters.
So
it's
like a comedy that would be directed by Jodie Foster.
Yeah,
if it's about lesbians, is anybody screaming about representation? I mean,
actually, I saw a couple articles already about how it's good queer representation.
How?
Because it's not. It doesn't turn into a lesbian movie for about an hour.
So it's basically like the From Dusk Till Dawn of lesbian movies. Gotcha.
Yes, where it's mostly a court drama with a bit of comedy, and the two girls are really close.
Then
all of a sudden, an hour into, they start kissing.
And then they make out for the rest of the movie.
Pretty much.
They get to second base on camera.
And again, 3 people on the Facebook group kept telling me, "You gotta see this movie. It's the first time Emma Stone's nude."
Okay, now I really want to see this movie.
Tell you, back then, if you were a lesbian or if you wanted to have sex, you had to really commit. Getting out of those clothes, dear God, that must have been an ordeal.
Well, actually, it should be a little bit less sexy because at this point in Queen Anne's life, she had gout and was rather fat.
Yeah. Well, back then, being fat was a sign of wealth, you know.
Well, for sure, she couldn't move.
I say the Queen is rather well fed, isn't she?
Weren't they a little inbred too on top of that?
Corpulent.
Yes.
I do desire a corpulent woman.
Not that has anything to do with the other in some of these instances, but the glands maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. To be fair, most people probably nowadays only remember Queen Anne because that was the name of a Blackbeard's ship because he really liked her.
True.
Of course, every back then had bad teeth too. So I mean,
how about the Grinch though? It's raked in quite a bit.
The Grinch is hanging in there.
No shit, I'm surprised.
I still see TV ads for it every week.
Oh,
I guess Universal needed that money this year. What else? Well, no, not really, because they had Jurassic World.
And this is like I said, this is the third or fourth time the Grinch has stolen Christmas.
That's what I said.
Third time if you count the old 1960s short by Chuck Jones,
or if you count the book. That's where I said, yeah.
Or the book, yeah.
Or the time he shot Joe on the roof in Family Guy.
Also, can I point out that according to Wikipedia, Mortal Engines is already a massive flop.
Yeah, they're saying it could lose like $100 million. No surprise there.
Yeah,
Did the TV series of that really fucking flop too that they had recently?
Yeah.
Who thought this was a good idea?
It's the tail end of the tween novel shit, and this is something that Peter Jackson's been working on for how many years now?
Too many, if you ask me.
Because wasn't this like something he's been working on since before The Hobbit?
I think. Like, so Peter, go back to horror, please. It makes money. Make Dead Alive 2.
Yes.
He was a good choice. We said to bring back to make another Nightmare on Elm Street because he had one of the more interesting scripts from back in the day.
Speaking of Peter Jackson though, and speaking of lesbian movies, anybody familiar with Heavenly Creatures?
Yeah, that's a Peter Jackson movie.
Yeah, Peter Jackson's first film. Kate Winslet making out with the chick from that was on 2.5 Men, Rose.
Yeah, she's hot. I had a thing.
She was hot, but not in that movie though.
Well, my first movie I remember her in was Almost Famous.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure she was in stuff before that, but
I remember. Yeah, she wasn't Almost Famous. Yeah.
But hopefully, is this going to put the YA genre to bed? I mean,
okay, so we're playing 3 Degrees of Lesbianism. I'm going to mention that apparently this week they announced that the current star of the Mary Queen of Scots movie, Saoirse Ronan's going to be in a lesbian movie as well.
Okay.
All right.
Just saying.
No, it's cool. The Mule, though, interesting enough, I've seen like most of the reviews say, not to switch gears, they say it's boring and it's racist. So I said, so in other words, it's probably amazing.
Yeah,
because
so it's Gran Torino again.
Yeah. Well, not just that. It's like maybe it's better than everybody's giving it credit for because it's it's not 20,000 fucking cuts in a second.
It's Gran Torino. This time I'm actually driving the car. Yes.
I love Gran Torino because Gran Torino reminds me so much of my grandfather, who he's still alive. I love him, but I'm so happy there's no one of any other ethnicity in his town.
to be fair, it is getting a lot of meh reviews from the audience, so I will give it that. But my point is, why does everything got to be so fucking fast cut in your face? And this is what was, kind of going off of that Netflix thing, and something I brought up earlier that I think we'll probably get into more in another video at some point. Maybe it'll come up, but what were you
take
saying?
a look at Into the Spider Curse. Everything's fast cut. How many fast cuts are in that?
You mean Spider Worst?
Yeah, because kids don't have the attention span to stick with anything. And as Mecca pointed out, and she was so astutely pointed out, these movies aren't made for people who watch movies. They're made for people who look down at their phones and text, and they see a flash, or they hear an explosion, and then it's time to look up. This is their way of trying to get them to focus on the movie, because if you have things always happening, bang, 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 they don't have the opportunity to look down.
Right. Well,
that shit happens for every movie, though. I saw The Revenant in it, and I swear by the third half, everybody was on their phones. It was obnoxious.
Oh God, I hate it when people are on their phones. Like these movies nowadays are kind of like the equivalent of somebody snapping their fingers in your face or clapping their hands in front of you. And I think that's what annoys me so much about these movies, is because they are doing that. Because, for somebody like me, I'm already looking at the screen. I'm not on my phone. I'm not, I'm not bored and wandering off. I don't go to a movie if I'm going to be doing that.
I will give this. Oh, go ahead.
I called Into the Spider-Verse a visual bombardment.
I will give Spider Curse this. They did take a little time in the opening to get us to know our main character, obviously. There is a story, but it's minimal. And going back to what you guys are just saying, and that's for a reason, and that's why it's because it's loud and obnoxious otherwise to get your attention. And to me, it just, after a while, it just droning. I can't take it anymore. It was kind of like the end of episode 3. It's like, okay, after 15 minutes, this fight is just... It's pointless. It lost all its luster, and not only that, it's just a big animated mess of how much crap they could shove on the screen at once, and it's the same kind of shit here. And not only that, how many cuts and everything else that goes. And I understand people like this Spider Curse movie, but I'd like to see some. I don't like this whole thing of, it's the greatest Spider-Man movie ever.
Yes,
maybe the greatest animated Spider-Man movie ever. I'll give it that.
I don't think there is another Spider-Man animated movie.
It's the only animated Spider-Man movie.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know how this can compare to some of the live action.
Even if you say Spider-Man animated, some people are going to say that Spectacular Spider-Man was a better show, or Amazing Ultimate Spider-Man. It's like,
but they did cram a few episodes together and make movies out of them from the 90s show and stuff like that. But the point is, I don't get where this is the bestest ever of everything. Why is this got to constantly kind of permeate in? Because let's face it, this movie is no better than straight to video. And in our review, we point out all the fucking flaws, is obvious in their face. And it's like, how can I can suspend my disbelief so far, but when you're in crunch time and the world is in fucking jeopardy, and you stop just to spray paint a fucking costume, that's bad storytelling.
Mm.
Because I'm sorry,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, in any world, it's gonna take a little bit for spray paint to dry, even the fastest drying spray.
When every minute counts, you don't have time to wait out.
Well, to quote Lucy Lawless, a wizard did it.
Yeah,
they'd have been better off having one that was basically like that, and if he just spray painted the symbol or something, that I had been okay with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for him to have to spray paint the whole suit like that, and when minutes count, like you guys just said, you can't be doing that kind of shit in a story, because to me, even though most people are probably not going to question that, I'm beyond the fact that we're already in a fucking Batcave in a Spider-Man movie, which already kind of just made me like, what the fuck are we watching here?
Tyler, did you see it?
I still have not seen it.
Okay. Mecca, you didn't see it, did you?
Let's not even get into the Gary Sue part. Yeah.
No, it looked bad, like the critic always says, if the movie blows, just don't go. It looked bad. I didn't think I would enjoy it. I didn't want to spend money on it.
I mean, I told people in the review, even though Rob and I didn't like it, we can't say don't go, because, you're probably going to feel like you got your money's worth out of it for the most part.
Yeah, but we kept saying we just don't understand what the big deal is. It's even at best, like you said, it's a straight to video. It's a straight to video feature.
There's DC straight to video movies that are better. The Flashpoint movie's better than this.
Is it just me?
Sorry.
Is it just with ask Tom? Is it just me, or does Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse does it talk down to its audience? It sort of treats them as very simple-minded, and it says, you know what I mean? It's a simple movie. It doesn't seem. It took such risks. I don't think that it did. I honestly don't think that it did.
Ask me, it went the other direction because, like we pointed out before we even saw the movie. If they had so much confidence in Miles Morales, then why does he need all these other Peter Parkers and shit around him?
Yeah, it took. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and not only that, from what I'm understanding, because I'm not real familiar with the Miles Morales comics, they switched around a few things and moved things in chronology to basically make him even closer and a clone to Peter Parker. And as I said in my review, and I stand by, and I don't care who gets mad at me, they blackwashed Peter Parker and just gave him stereotypes to try and make some new character who's hip and cool for the kids. And I don't mind, and that's why I don't mind Homecoming, because I don't mind that updated version of Peter Parker. He's in line with what kids are like today, but he's enough like the old Peter Parker that I don't, I can still see Spider-Man in there.
That didn't always work, though, as with Flash. Flash Thompson, the new update.
That was idiotic. Version. That was the most idiotic thing.
Well, that's trying to copy Spider-Man,
yeah.
The worst thing is the actor Tony Rivoli. He's really good. He's in one of my favorite movies, the Grand Budapest Hotel. So why they gave him such a trashy role, I don't know.
My best guess. Now this I don't have anything solid to base this on, but this is my best guess. Because they make changes to these movies all the time, and they make changes. My best guess is that they had a focus group, or they had a marketing men meet, and they looked at it and said, we need to do something different. We need to update it, and we need to, Flash Thompson was originally a football player. Oh, let's change it to make it seem more modern and less American, because as we all know, they have to market these movies overseas, and us in Canada, and maybe American Samoa are the only places where they play American football.
That also made being during the I forget when that came. Was that made during the whole NFL controversy at the same time?
Which controversy?
No, I think it was just before.
Well, there's more reason for them not to associate, I suppose.
Well, Flash, I didn't like as much how they changed. I didn't mind MJ because I got that, but I know people don't like that. So.
I just didn't like the character in general. I don't care if her name is Michelle or I don't know.
Right. Well, I just got it as, okay, the updating of Peter is such that, it's cool now to be a nerd. And I like how they kind of flip-flopped the whole him being obsessed with MJ for MJ being obsessed with him.
I actually like the other girl more in the movie.
Well, and that's fine, Liz. But I'm just saying I didn't mind that. It was a little bit refreshing considering we've already had two of basically the same Spider-Man in a row. That to me was a little bit a nice change of pace. But I totally understand people who reject it and have issues with it too, because it isn't the real MJ. I get that.
Well, Nate Boggs, you actually saw United Passions? You're like one of the 5 people who saw it. I'm sorry, mentioned that the United Passions, the movie that was made by Asian, it made like $72 in the US.
Oh my god. Yeah, and Mary Highland, NFL has tons of scandals, but the whole thing we're talking about high school football though.
Yeah, there was no scene where Flash Thompson punched his girlfriend in an elevator.
Yeah, good point. But like I said, kids these days, they're not, like I said, it looks to me like the result of a focus group or marketing men said, oh, well, we need something to appeal that doesn't look intrinsically American, and we need something that kids like. Oh, kids like music. Kids are into DJing. Let's make him a DJ. I thought for a second they were going to make him a soccer player. But the other part about this is there is no way I am going to believe that this kid who's playing Flash Thompson, there's no way I'm going to believe that he's going to be a bully, especially not in Queens, because he will get his ass kicked. His status. Like, no. I told everybody this last year. No, his status would not protect him in a place like Forest Hills, he would be the guy getting picked on. Hey, where you going, rich boy? Hey, Richie Rich, I'm talking to you. Get your ass over here, money bags. You know, Queens at one point was a very working class, very kind of tough place. Now, you know, it's being gentrified like the rest of New York. It's getting whiter and more affluent. But
I went to New York last year, and I was so disappointed. I went through Hell's Kitchen. It really should be called Clinton. There's no hell to it about it anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Hell's Kitchen is completely the whole. You don't. Even as late as the 80s, I remember the porno theaters in Times Square. You know, it's a completely. No, what is the Matrix? No, Forest Hills was a lot tougher back in the late 60s, early 70s. The Ramones are from Forest Hills.
The new version of the Punisher. He couldn't be in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen to you now is someone's going to throw a notebook full of gluten-free cupcake recipes at you. You kidding me?
Someone's going to whine about you're not literate. Oh, damn it. Yeah, someone's going to complain to you about not recycling.
Wait, this trash isn't sorted, you know.
Well, I think that's kind of, not to stick up for, but I think that's kind of where they were getting at is you can't really do the traditional bully thing anymore with a modern setting. And I think 21 Jump Street even had some fun with that. So, I mean, there's that point. But also, I know this isn't the way it is, but it was almost like they were setting it up more so that he had like a secret gay love for Peter. And that's why.
That's what I thought too. Like the part where he steals his car, he seems a little bit too okay with that.
When he's obsessed with his penis.
Yeah, he keeps calling him Penis Parker. I'm like, I'm not sure about that as an insult.
Well, the other thing too is about Thunder Danny Action Man says soccer is bigger on the world stage. Yeah, but most soccer players are 5'3", 140 pounds.
But the point is, they could have made him anything other. They could have made him a basketball player. They could have made him anything else. I think they were going. The reason they didn't have him be the traditional Flash is you can't really get away with being that kind of bully anymore in school. There's too many social justice warriors that are going to fucking you up. That's the problem. So,
well, maybe the committee went like this. It's like, okay, he's going to be either a really nerdy bully or he's going to be a football player that takes a knee.
Yeah.
I don't know if that much thought went into it so much as I think it was more of, okay, well, this is a character that we can diversify. And in diversifying, I think you brought this up earlier on, Tyler, was just more so, or maybe it was Rob, that in that case, they don't want to make him so much of a bully. And again, that's where I said times have changed to where I understand you can't have the standard Nelson, Flash Thompson type bully nowadays and have it fly. That's why they can't make Revenge of the Nerds now. We brought that up too. It just wouldn't fly nowadays.
We can't make Animal House.
I saw Animal House. Animal House was on last night on Netflix. Yeah, that'll never fly.
No. Yeah.
I don't condone it. I'm just explaining, I can see their point of view on it. And at the same time, I don't really care because we've had already enough of the old version to fall back on. I don't mind the changes that are in this version of Spider-Man as long as Peter Parker stays true to the spirit of who Peter Parker is.
Yeah, you could easily cut Flash Thompson out of the movie, though. That's the
thing. Right. You don't need him.
He's like 5 scenes. Yeah, he's very inconsequential.
Well, one of the things. I'm
sorry, Rob. No, well, that just brings me back around to the whole thing with MJ is that Peter wouldn't be such a target now either, as opposed to in the 1960s or 70s or 80s even. Go ahead, Rob.
I shouldn't have even called her MJ. There's no characteristic about her that's even similar to the character.
Well, it's a role reversal. Like I was saying, they reverse the roles in that instead of it being Peter obsessed with MJ, it's MJ obsessed with Peter, and he doesn't really notice her as much. Kind of the other way around. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, Rob.
I know it just is a way of having their cake and eat it too. As everyone got angry about MJ possibly being, a different race, and
that's the part that whatever you're going to have to deal with that on your own. I don't mind. I'm just saying in my vision of it, I don't mind the change of pace.
Yeah. Well, one of the things actually we were talking about, like I said, everything is just so focus group driven. Everything is just like all these things are just so focus group driven. It's all analytics. It's all like studying trends. Nobody knows how to nobody knows how to just go with something that would be best for story. Like, no, we have to do this because this demographic. It's checking boxes. It's all checking boxes.
Right.
Thunder Day in the action. Hold on, Thunder Day in the action. I get that it's an American child in school, so it makes sense to make Flash role player. However, marketing wise, if you're trying to appeal to the masses in other countries, to bend, like, well, but so basketball's played all over the world.
Yeah, and that's where I said they could have done it. So I don't think it was that so much as they were just intentionally trying not to make him the stereotypical bully. And Joker 79 brings up another point too. To back to what I was saying was MJ was creepy to me. If roles reversed, the guy would be considered a stalker. That's probably the other reason they reversed the roles.
But one of the things
fly with that, but since she's a girl, they can get away with it. But anyway, sorry, Rob.
But I was saying about one thing in trying to update and trying to modernize, trying to diversify the role of Flash Thompson is you made it unbelievable. I mean, Tom Holland is an inch taller than this kid Tony Revolori. And
to a point, it's unbelievable if you want to look at it from the aspect. I'll give you that as the old Flash Thompson. But if you just give him a different name, would you have felt the same way? You just thought he was a different character if they gave him a different name.
Sanjay Rabinowitz or whatever.
Well, even it doesn't even have to be that. Even if it just wasn't anything but. I totally get where you're coming from. So that's where I'm saying. I'm not trying to deflate your argument, but what I'm saying is they shouldn't have called him Flash Thompson.
Call him something else because this character is not Flash Thompson. That's the other thing. But like I said, and coming back, this comes back around to into the Spider-Verse. Everybody keeps saying that this was a bold movie. This took chances. I don't think it took a lot of chances because all it did was they were trying to hone in on whatever kids are doing. Oh, he's into music. Oh, he does this. Oh, he does graffiti. Oh, they just heaped
That's where I said it's a blackwashed Peter Parker, just added in with some stereotypes, and that's where the graffiti comes in and certain family dynamics and other things. And I don't want to get into it all because people are going to say I'm wrong, but that's just because they don't want to say it because it's in front of their face and they probably like the movie. Okay, so you liked how the movie handled it. That's fine. But to me, I just wished it was either just a plain Miles Morales movie. Otherwise, why did we get a Peter Parker clone?
Yeah. Well, Miles is really just a Peter Parker clone. He was always a Peter Parker clone.
And that's my point. You would just make it all about him and leave Peter Parker out of it altogether. Or whatever, because I mean, I get some people like the aspect of this whole Spider-Verse thing, but like I said, they already did it with Turtles Forever. It's nothing new.
But don't you get it, Tom? We're like totally tearing down the white male patriarchy.
It's all about representation.
Yeah, and you have a review that's going to get into this, right, Rob?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah. Don't you get it? The stereotypical white savior has to be destroyed, man. And it's all white people that are saying this too, so
it's all right. Anyway, we got a little bit more news here before we go. Let's get into this. If you're a fan of Dark Crystal, we got a little
Crystal
news for the Netflix series coming from Henson and Netflix.
So Dark Crystal, I don't know a whole lot about the Dark Crystal.
It was a lot. It was very much. It was a Jim Henson sort of puppet thing.
Dark Crystal. Yeah, it was like his passion project.
Oh, sorry, I'm back. So we're on the Dark Crystal now.
Yeah, wait, we didn't know you left. I'm sorry, Tyler.
Oh, it's okay.
So we're just starting now. Actually, we were talking about Dark Crystal gets some casting. They've casted Natalie Emmanuel, Taron Egerton, Helen Bonner Carter, and Mark Hamill.
Hasn't this been in the works for years?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But it just got picked up by Netflix, I think, last year or something like that.
That's why they had to cancel Daredevil.
Right. No, that's a whole nother set of nuts and bolts. Let's talk about this one, though, because this one I'm kind of excited about to a point.
Okay, the upcoming Dark Crystal series at Netflix has announced it's a stacked voice cast. Leading cast for Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance are Taron Egerton, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Natalie Emmanuel's Ryan. Brea and Deet, 3 Gelfling heroes. What the hell are they talking about? The
Gelflings are the good guys.
Okay. Well, why don't you take this? Because I know nothing about the Dark Crystal.
All right, I'll try here. Let's see. Oh, no, I'm getting crap on the screen. Where'd you leave off here?
Screw you, Tribune. I stopped reading after Roger died.
Right. Did I go too far?
Yeah, the Skeksis, the Mystics,
the
whatever.
Skeksis and Mystics are voiced by Harvey Firestein, Mark Hamill, Ralph Ineson, Jason Isaacs. Oh boy, Keegan.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Look who's
Simon
also
Pegg and Andy Samberg.
Look who else is part of the cast. It's Shazad, Tyler Vaughn Latif.
Yep.
What?
Oh
True.
no. Well, that's they're just. It looks like they're just getting the usuals, like a lot of these little British actors, though, huh?
They have the no talent ass clown who stole my name.
Agra will be voiced by Donna Kimball. Additional characters will also be voiced by puppeteers from the production, including Alice Dinian, Lewis Gold, Neil Sterenberg, and Victor Yared.
So you know what that confirms? The Agra's back.
Oh, isn't this a prequel though?
Yeah, but I mean, like, character. Hey, it's a character we know from the other movie.
Right.
From the movie.
The series. Oh yeah, the series is set many years before the events of the movie. The world of Thra is dying. The crystal of truth is at the heart of Thra, a source of untold power, but it is damaged, corrupted by the evil Skeksis, and a sickness spreads across the land. When three Gelfling, I can't even talk when I know what I'm saying, uncover the horrific truth behind the power of the Skeksis, an adventure unfolds as the fires of the rebellion are lit. An epic battle for the planet begins. Netflix has ordered 10-episode first season. Now You See Me director Louis Leterrier
Close enough.
will executive produce the series and direct. The Jim Henson Company will produce, with Lisa Henson and Hal Stanford also executive producing. Longtime Henson collaborator Rita Perugi will serve as producer, and Henson's Blanca Lista will serve as co-executive producer. Leading the writing are co-executive producers Jeffrey Addis, Will Matthews, and Javier Grillo Markuik. Oh. Anyway, what do you guys think? Mecca, you're a big fan.
Yes. I think this is going to be good. I hope this is going to be good. God damn it, I hope this is going to be good. Well, I mean, Mark Hamill, Taron Egerton, we have Helena Bonham Carter. We have people who can act. It's got some big names behind it. They seem correct. I mean, they're bringing back Agra.
You missed out just one name there, though. I know Natalie Emmanuel from Game of Thrones. She's all right.
Yeah, I don't remember who she is in Game of Thrones though. So that's like
she's damn it, I might blank on everyone's names at the moment here.
If it's after season 4, I probably or 5, I don't remember it because I haven't seen it yet. But
she's from season 3 onward. Okay. She's Daenerys. This is a assistant she got from the Slave City.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I think this could be good. I hope this will be good. I mean, I loved the Dark Crystal as a kid way more than Labyrinth. So this is more. This is more of a. I'm hopeful because I actually really love the original property, and since it's a prequel, I mean, my rule against prequels usually stands for stuff like Star Trek. I think since this is more of a fantasy world. And we do have some source material. If they can follow the good source material from like the novels and there's comics and all sorts of things, then I think we can do it justice. Plus Henson Studios. I don't know. What do you think, Tom? Are you excited for this?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a lot of good points, especially when it comes to prequels. But by the time we get to the Dark Crystal, there's probably more to mine story-wise. Prior to that, I like the Dark Crystal, but I'm a little bit more partial to Labyrinth. But Dark Crystal is much more epic, so it lends itself to this kind of a storytelling element towards 10 episodes at least to start with. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm a little bit more than cautiously optimistic. I don't know the word I'm looking for though. But yeah, now that I hear most of the cast, I'm really on board, so I can't wait to check this out. It might be a good reason for me to get Netflix back.
Intrigued might be a good word.
Intrigued, yeah.
I'm more a Labyrinth person. I mean, only that had Starman.
That's one of the big reasons why I like Labyrinth. Yeah,
and I mean, as a kid, king with a big crotch.
Here's the thing: is when I was a kid, if shit scared me, I would be like really into it. Like, I would really like Gremlins. That's one of the reasons why I love Gremlins and Jaws. And the goblins in Labyrinth scared the fuck out of me. But for some reason, I may not have seen Dark Crystal till after Labyrinth, I swear I didn't, but it must not have scared me. There must not have been anything that scared me as a young kid, because that one didn't really bother me as much. Or I didn't have
the
as
torture
much
of the podlings. The
must not have got to me as much as the goblins. I was always I was always into like little monsters and shit.
Yeah.
And the first.
So does that mean you saw Return to Oz as a kid?
Yeah, that one was one of those that kind of stuck with me a little bit. I'm not as much as even Dark Crystal though. But I've seen it in recent years. It's still pretty creepy.
Yeah, I imagine that some kid watching The Wizard of Oz going, "Oh boy, I want another sequel of this," and they get all the wheelers and the decapitated lady.
Heart. Why is it I have no heart, Austin Ben? I'm not offended. I'm just curious why you say that, because I probably don't.
I think here's the thing: the Dark Crystal had this whole backstory, this elaborate world of before. Like the before time when the Gelflings ruled or were wandering around and the Mystics were wandering around.
Maybe that's why it didn't scare me as much, is because it was set in such a fantasy world as opposed to Labyrinth, which was kind of invading the real world. That might be why. It seemed more realistic to me, perhaps.
Yeah. And for me, Labyrinth really bothered me because the opening scene, she wishes her bratty little half brother away, and she gets her wish. Movie over. Why does she have to go? Like, she didn't have the kid. She didn't ask. Like,
because she has a heart unlike me.
Jennifer Connelly has no heart.
if it were
you
me,
do realize that Labyrinth is basically Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah, and that might be why I didn't like it that much too.
And in other words, her brother is actually Kansas or whatever.
Yeah,
but I still love it. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I like it more now. I watched Dark Crystal a lot more as a kid, so that's kind of probably why I have a bigger attachment to it. I didn't see Labyrinth until I was maybe one time as a kid, and a lot of same thing with Return to Oz. I saw Return to Oz as an adult, so.
Oh yeah, that's fine, Austin. But I was just curious what you were referring to more so than anything. But
random. Have the fun of watching Return to Oz. Is just the complete shock and horror of seeing that as a kid.
See, I probably wouldn't have cared. I grew up with like Texas Chainsaw Massacre sort of movies as a kid, and Return of the Living Dead and Poltergeist. So I think I would have been bored.
Wouldn't have affected you as much. And you were a little bit older than me, and Rob too, probably in the sense that by the time that came out, it probably wouldn't have bothered you guys as much because you would have been a little older, maybe. Because I think it was '85 when that came out.
Yeah, I think it was like high school when I was in.
Yeah. So, but see, I remember seeing it on video in probably like '86, '87, and yeah, it was pretty fucked up. And I don't think I saw it again until recent years. And I had a buddy who was really into it, but he was also the one who also got me into like scary movies and shit like that too. So he was already kind of predestined to like shit like that.
I think if I had known about it, I would have watched it because I liked Wizard of Oz, and I would have liked a sequel. I just didn't hear about it. It was probably on like Showtime, and I had HBO or something.
Loosely a sequel, because I think it's one of those that they can't refer to things other than maybe did they get the rights to talk about the ruby slippers? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember.
Well, the thing is, the ruby slippers are not actually from the book, so
I know. Are they silver or ruby in that? I can't remember.
They're silver in the books. They were silver shoes, and the movie they were ruby slippers.
I mean in Return to Oz.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Somebody out there remembers. Let me know, because I'm trying to remember. I know that they tried the gimmick of connecting it to the original movie, but it's not made by MGM, and it has no real connection to the original other than
it was a Disney production of all things.
Yeah, Disney production. Yeah, scary enough.
I don't think it was actually based on any of the Wizard of Oz books. There's like 17 books.
No, it's a sequel in the sense that it's like an original story. Yeah.
I don't, talking about the Wizard of Oz. I don't know if anyone has heard this story. There's people that claim there's a scene, a part of the final scene that's cut that shows the ruby slippers under the bed.
Oh,
anyone,
I don't know.
Never heard that. Any of you heard that story? No.
That's people.
I don't know how true it is. I haven't been able. You think footage of it would have turned up somewhere?
Well, there's actually a reason for that, because in the book, actually, all the events that happen really happen. It's not like in the movie where they imply it's all a dream.
Right. And that's kind of what Return to Oz is and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, but fine, right here. Okay. The film was available without Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer approval. No approval was necessary because by 85, the Oz books were actually public domain, and the subsequent books were actually bought by Disney. But they paid a large fee to use the ruby slippers, which were still the intellectual property of MGM.
That's what I was going to say, and that's where I get into my argument with adaptations and remakes and how they differ. Is if a movie does something specific to the movie and you carry that over, then that's why they did that, is so they could bank on it saying it was a sequel. And since Disney did it, then they definitely were trying to bank on that.
So yeah, they mentioned the ruby slippers.
Yes, and that's what I meant, is that MGM would have owned the rights to that aspect of the story since they created it.
Yeah, that's the only original part they actually owned, was the slippers.
Yes, yeah. Was it just that, or yeah?
Just that.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. From my recollection, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are speaking of Wizard of Oz, they're confusing the end of the book with the end of the movie. I think it's one of those urban legends that's got passed around.
Yeah.
Well, like the urban legend of the guy who hanged himself or whatever in the background.
Yeah. Same thing.
You can see in the Blu-ray very easily that it's not. Same thing with Men and a Baby and all that crap.
Which scene?
Isn't it like Off to See the Wizard, I think?
It's one of the Off to See the Wizards. I think it's when they're all three finally together. What it is, there's a flamingo or a pelican or something in the background.
Flamingo.
And if it's in low res, like it has been in so many years since it hadn't been on theater screens, and that's when people realized that it was a bunch of horse shit, is when it was finally brought back out in theaters like 10, 15 years ago, almost now, whatever it was, that it was just a flamingo or whatever. But yeah, they thought it was a little person had hung himself. Because just
that would totally make it into an MGM movie in 1939.
Well, not just that. It's like like I said, you would think that nobody would ever notice that. Bullshit. The movie's on big screens for years. It was just I'm sure it was just one of those things that didn't happen until it started coming on TV every year, when people started seeing it in very low res.
It's like the famous scene from The Rescuers where there's a nude woman in the background. Nobody noticed.
That is true.
That is real, though.
That is real. No, a better example to go with is the ghost boy in 3 Men and a Baby, when it's just a cutout of
that was cool though.
Oh yeah,
movies. But anyway, we went way off. We're looking forward to this, but yeah, is there anything else we have to say about the Dark Crystal thing, or should we just move on to just talking shit now?
Talking shit. Yeah, we can kick some more Les Moonves.
Lesbian Moonves?
Lesbian Moonves.
That's probably on his #1 search result. Like a lesbian version of himself in videos. He's that egotistical.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I found the scene with the Munchkin. It's actually somebody on YouTube has it. It's in the one where the 10-man shack. There's just some kind of shape. Looks like a tree, actually. I don't think it's anything.
It's nothing.
No, it's just a flamingo. I have the Blu-ray and shit like that.
So it's a flamingo? How's it a flamingo? And I don't care.
What's more interesting is the story about if you play a Pink Floyd album at the beginning, it matches up perfectly to the movie.
Hey, that's fucking fun to do. Don't knock that, especially.
No. That's cool.
I know. Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah.
I've never actually done that.
Well, we're doing. Yeah.
I think you started at the second Lion Roar. I don't know. There's probably a version out there with it.
There's an instruction on the internet somewhere, I'm sure.
But yeah, I like to do that with sometimes. That's cool.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to remade Wizard of Oz, because they actually have a way around it. They could just be more accurate to the book.
Well, they kind of did try to. I think Disney was trying again with when they did that Oz.
Oh, Oz and the Great Power.
I think that was supposed to start kind of a franchise, and then Wicked has been in development hell for how many fucking years now?
Oh, years. All the casts have grown too old to even be in it now.
Well, I think they're still trying to make it, or they're in the process of, but I can't remember.
Which is also not based on any of the books. It's so strange. You have 19 books, but almost none of the material is based on anything past the first book.
Right. Joker 79, you're talking about Over the Rainbow, I think is the name of it, with Carrie Fisher and Chevy Chase.
Oh, yeah, the one about all the little people being awful that Judy Garland said, but I think someone said that was a lie.
Yeah, it's loosely based on true story and rumors, yeah.
Like, I think the last Munchkin actually just died a few months ago.
Not too long ago, yeah. I've actually seen Over the Rainbow. It's different.
It's interesting. Oh, I know what this guy's Nathan Boggs talking about. He's talking about Legends of Oz.
That
movie
one that they spent a buttload of money on that they said was probably
this movie is so bad it's actually a crime. We're pretty sure there was actually some banking crimes committed. This movie is fully fraud.
Yeah, because it cost like over $100-some million, and it looked like it was animated 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was animated by like a $20 million budget, but it cost like 120, and it was backed by investor. It's a mess.
So it's another Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
damn!
We got to be nicer on that. I mean, Into the Spider-Verse isn't nearly as bad as, say, like Ghostbusters or anything like that, in my opinion.
No,
it's so you don't hate on me, but
it's just a symptom of a larger trend of awfulness, though.
Right, it's like a symbol, and this kind of gets me back to what we were talking about. We might talk about at the end of the show here if you want, guys are in the mood to. And then we've talked about this before, but I came across a video that's a little older, and there's even been more advancements in this since that video because we've talked about it, where music has basically gotten worse in the last few years, and it's not just us because we're old.
Yeah,
it's kind of scientifically been proven to the point where they've actually just recently, I think it was a German scientist or something like that, figured out there was an algorithm where they could actually basically write a hit song with a computer through an algorithm. It's like
oddly enough, actually, it's actually Sony developed an algorithm, and they actually had a computer write a song in the style of the Beatles.
And I've heard some of the scary ones that are funny as fuck, but it's getting to the point where, go ahead, sorry, because they're getting like accurate now. It's like fucked up.
The song is called Daddy's Car. You can hear it's on YouTube, and it's you know what a computer does? It takes the information, and then when it spits out something out, it spits out an average, and that's what it sounds like. It sounds like an average song. In the style of the Beatles, not necessarily. It sounds like something they would have thrown away if they did write it.
Right, but the point being...
So we're talking like Blue Jay Way level quality?
No, but the point is but the point is that this video brought up, and it's true, is that...
It kind of sounds like... Way. It kind of sounds like Klaatu. Remember that? Remember those guys that were sort of in the 70s? Everybody thought they were the Beatles when they weren't.
But the point I was getting to is they've started using more digital instruments, especially in the last 20 years, to make music to the point where there's just like no soul in it anymore, and the human part of it is gone. And not only that, more songs are written by two people than anybody else. Which it wasn't no thing to have hit songwriters back in the day, but there's a hell of a lot more of them. You didn't just have two guys writing majority of the fucking hits.
Yeah, the age of Brian Wilson, the Beatles, and all the classics, it's over.
Bob Dylan.
It's gone. Well, you can find music if you dig for it. But the reason I'm bringing all this up is not so much that we can talk about music, because we could all night, because we've done it before. And that's the reason, is I think that this mentality or this theory, or whatever you want to call it, can be kind of put up against movies now. In a sense that we kind of were talking about it before the show, and I think it rings true to a point that movies are kind of processed the same way now, ever since they've been more digital and more CGI and more made by committee and more made with test group. What like Rob was saying before with everything's test done through
focus groups and marketing people,
marketing people and everything like that. Now so much more, and the pure art of film has just gone away. It's gone. Really, if you look at it, even in the best of movies, it's still kind of gone. It's not a true filmmaker's vision anymore. It's not.
You want modern music? Apparently, everyone's complaining about a Pitbull song being in the Aquaman movie.
Yes, and that movie was like written by like one of those algorithms because it knew that song was popular right now, and people would fucking. Just like Take On Me, it was with that song with the fucking Lego movie. I think Pitbull did that song too. Pitbull is just another fucking example of this whole fucking thing. Where it's just, I'm sorry guys. I know the young people, and most of you are smart enough to know this because my kid is, that music stopped being good for the most part 20, 25, 30 years ago almost. It's like, you can pick some things out here and there, but you really have to dig. And I, like I said, to get it back around to what I was getting to, is I think this is really kind of ring true to movies too, in a ways. And I think it kind of gets back to what we were talking to with the whole Netflix thing too, a little bit too, is, You know, most of these movies are made by committee, even though I kind of liked Bohemian Rhapsody as a fan with my fan goggles on. That movie's fucking horrible because it's totally horse shit. You know what I mean? But as a movie, it works. I had to go into it with my movie critic eyes instead of my fan goggles. But point being that these kind of movies, they seem like they're all the same. There's no art to it anymore. It's not like it used to be. The hands-on approach is kind of taken away from the artists. It feels like everything's kind of paint by numbers now. What do you guys
think? If you want to see music fall apart before your eyes, there's CNN has this mini series about each decade. It started with the 60s, they just ended at the 2000s. The 60s one, they're talking about the British invasion. The 70s when they're talking about hardcore rock. 80s, this is kind of like a punk take. And then when they get to the 90s and the 2000s, it becomes like, yeah, we're talking about Coldplay and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and I don't know, Bjork. Like, ugh.
Somebody brought up, actually talking about the 90s, somebody brought up a song by a band called the Toadies from the 90s.
Oh God, I hate that song.
Yeah, but none of us could remember the title. That's how forgettable this shit is.
That's the title.
I
fucking hate that song. I hated it then. I hate it. That's so stupid.
Okay, well, just to bring the point though, the video brings up that the thing kind of came crashing down when we were able to have like thousands of songs at our fingertips at once. Because it's true.
Share for this, because I feel like Believe also really killed music.
What's that?
Cher's Believe, the auto-tune song.
Kind of crap. Well, you can trace the music declining before that, but my point is
that accelerated it.
It accelerated it to a pace to where we are now, to where we even are programmed by the situation we're in to not even seek out better music. And people are bringing up independent movies, and I'll get to that in a second because this bleeds into that point, is that yeah, there's music out there that's good, but you have to dig for it. You have to find it. Same thing with movies. There's movies out there that are, you know, artistic masterpieces, but you have to dig for them. You have to find them because the algorithm, what you have in this world, everything's going to throw the big thing in your face, like the Spider-Verse in your face, and whatever is the big new trending thing is going to get thrown in your face more often than the little independent movie. You know, it's the same thing with music. It's the same thing here, and that's what I'm getting at. And I think a lot of it was rose, just like with music, when digital kind of became a big part of it. And instead of them using it as a tool, it became the means of which they used to make the entire thing out of, just like with music. You know what I mean? And that's where I get to the whole paint by numbers. The whole artistic side of it's taken out. You don't use a different shade of red here. You use this shade of red here, no matter what. That's a paint by numbers. You can't change that. That's what it says to do. That's what you do. And movies are the same ways. Music's the same way. And I think that's where it's gotten to this point where everything's just gotten me so numb to the movies. And that made me think about why I don't like Into the Spider-Curse and why a lot of people do. And I'm not trying to say that you're programmed out there, but really think for a moment if it's really as good as you're hyping it up to be. You know, and I think Rob has something probably to say to that for sure.
Doomcock calls it hypnosis.
Exactly. He's absolutely right about that. And I every time I like a movie for no reason, I kind of blame the hype for it. Like The Dark Crystal, there's no reason for me to like that, except I remember the nostalgia. I'm hyped for it. Therefore, it sounds exciting to me. And we have no other information other than like, here are the people writing it, here are the people voice acting it, and that's all it is.
Well, think about what movies really are. Movies are really emotional connections to the characters you see on screen. If you don't have an emotional connection to a character, then you're not going to be invested in that story. You're not going to want to see what happens to them. Just like when I said, I have no emotional connection to Miles Morales or any of the other characters Into the Spider-Verse. And which is why I was just like, going when he was, fighting the Kingpin, kill the motherfucker, kill him. I just like,
you're hoping he's going to smash his head in with the car door.
Exactly. Yes. I always said about before that, people talk about Miles Morales because I hope the motherfucker runs out of web fluid over 59th Street and plunges headfirst into traffic. Sounds mean, but I'm like I said, if you don't have any emotional connection to a character, then you are not going to be invested in that story. You're not going to see what happens. It's not going to be an interesting movie. And that's what all this focus group driven algorithm, based movie making is doing. It's removing the emotion from any kind of storytelling. Right. I said I had a more emotional connection to the dog in the preview in the movie that I saw.
Well, and Austin Ben brought up episode 1, and yes, that's a prime example, and to me, the culmination of all of what I'm talking about here, because that is a good example, because that is a guy, George Lucas, who took what was the most successful film franchise in history, basically, and why? Not so much because, yeah, it had dazzling special effects, but the story and the characters were engaging. Compared to episode 1, which is a basic paint by the numbers story and characters, and George forgot his own rule, and that was that a special effect is nothing without a good story. And that is what we've become. I mean, and that's where I said we've gotten to this point where I think that we're programmed to say, oh, it's the bestest ever, no matter what it is, because that's the way they want us to fucking sell it.
That's how they sell it in the articles, though. They're in the articles saying, oh, the up and coming hit, or the newest sensation. Yeah, they do that.
You can't convince me George didn't want to sell 1,000 toys and just thought of all the ways to do that.
I want people to either watch Spider-Man 2 just before this and go to the theater and see Spider-Curse, or watch Spider-Man 2 after they go to the theater, or wait till it comes out on video and watch them back to back, and tell me that Spider-Curse is a better movie than Spider-Man 2.
No.
Seriously.
No.
Chromosome, you're right. Everything about episode 1 was yes men saying nothing to George.
Exactly, and that's even in the making of. I love that the making of episode 1 is more entertaining than the movie.
Yeah,
because you see what a breakdown happen. You see a breakdown in real time, well, not real time, but a documented time of how this whole thing went to a clusterfuck, and they backed themselves into a corner.
Yeah, that first screening when they're all just in absolute shock and horror sums it up.
I think I might have taken it too far.
Yeah, I might have went a little too far in some places. And then the next thing you cut to it, and you know what they cut out there, and it's that you're catching the tail end of this thing. Is like, man, we fucked up. What are we gonna do? We can't cut anything now. You know, it's like, and then they're trying to rationalize the shit. You know what I mean? They're like, well, you know, it's fundamentally set up to be that way, and you can't really change it now because this is what, you know, and it's George convincing himself again that he's done the right thing, and nobody's there to tell him, no, George, you fucked up. You need to go back and fix this. You should spend another fucking $100 million, whatever it takes, to get it done, because it's going to make it back anyway.
Actually, the best line in that is when he says, we can't beat the Titanic. Nobody can.
Yeah, bullshit. He knew. Well, he knew now that he saw his own movie, but you know damn well before that was going to be his whole fucking plan, and he knew that. Don't think that man's not egotistical. Don't think that it doesn't burn his shit that he did not get an Oscar for Star Wars.
And again, like I said about emotional connection to characters, did anybody really feel a connection to Anakin Skywalker?
No,
because he's paint by numbers.
No, and he was whiny and annoying.
The only character you felt a connection to was Qui-Gon
or Obi-Wan.
Because
who should have been the primary character. Which, if you haven't seen Red Letter Media's,
everyone here
prequels, I'm sure they have. But if you haven't, after the show, watch them. They are the greatest reviews of all time. They break everything down and they're right about everything when it comes.
I feel sad for the fans that actually got like tattoos of Jar Jar Binks because they thought he'd be cool before the movie came out.
Oh, that's why I don't get tattoos. Because I've always said, and this is the honest to God truth. I even said this shit in high school. I'm like, no, I don't think I'll ever get a tattoo, because my luck, I'll end up getting a band or something like that, a tattoo of, and then like the lead singer will end up being some child molester or some shit. That'd be my luck. So, you know, like, it's a good thing I didn't get that Michael Jackson tattoo probably, or something, you know, just in case, you know. Not that I would get one. I'm just saying as an example, because even if he did or didn't, it doesn't matter. You know, it came out that he did. He was accused of all this shit at one point, and it was like, oh, you know,
those tattoos are going pretty fast.
Yeah. Mecca, as a woman, do you like tattoos?
I don't dislike them, but I don't go out of my way to find somebody with them. I don't know. I don't have any myself. I'm fine I'm fine without them. So I don't know. I'm not.
There's only a few tattoos I've ever considered getting, and one of them I'm kind of glad I hadn't. And that was a Yoda tattoo.
Oh.
And that's just because my love of Star Wars has waned so badly.
Yeah.
There's only I was considering getting Captain Harlock's flag somewhere, but at the same time, like I said, it's not. I hate to be that guy that walks around with he gets a tattoo, then all of a sudden the sleeve monster attacks you. You know, all your sleeves. Oh, and you walk around showing everybody. Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, it's funny. You should notice that. Yeah,
that's to me not something I'm. Yeah, sorry.
Technically, I am the only Mex-Man because I'm actually half Spanish.
Captain Robert April down with the Yes Men, up with the Mex-Men. Hey, Holmes, last time on the Mex-Men. Oh, Carlos Javier really got into it last time.
I can do a Spanish accent. Can I be in it?
Sure.
I gotta come up with what's the Spanish
Taco
word?
Bell.
What's the Spanish word for Magneto? How would you say Magneto?
Well, Gary came up with a good one from Nerdrotic. El Margarito.
El Margarito.
But ole.
Oh yeah, almost. I didn't say magnet in Spanish.
Nachos. See, I can do it.
I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it.
Magneto. Magneto in Spanish is
Iman.
Magneto in Spanish is Magneto.
That's because it's a name too. That's probably
why. El Magneto. Reminds me of Archer. How do you say Hulk in Spanish? El Hulk? Lame. Like we don't have a word for Hulk.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Most of the time, names are just names, so it don't really.
Magneto. Oh, Nathan Box. Magneto. Hey, Holmes. Last time Carlos Javier, he really got into a Magneto. Magneto.
I like that Menudo band.
Yes. Mamacita, donde está Santa Claus? The vato with the bony knees going down the street with no shoes on his feet, and he's no, that ain't it, man. Hey, man, come on, man. I'm trying to write a song about Santa Claus, but it's not coming out, man.
I like Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah, man. Santa Claus, he's a real groovy dude.
Yes.
Yes. Well, what's about the time about 5 years ago?
It's the only night I get to go motorboat. Mrs. Claus is December 24th.
Hey, Holmes. Oh, man. Yeah, man. We're going to leave the brownies out for the kiddies, the goodies. Yeah, man. Eat the brownies, drink the tea.
Not those brownies, man. They're going to make this reindeer really fly.
I thought you would go after a X-Men version of Psylocke.
Psylocke? What would the X-Men version of Psylocke be? It would be...
Oh my God, Patrick Ollinger, my favorite Michael Jackson song. I'm more partial to the Jackson 5 years. But if I have to pick a Michael Jackson song...
El Magnetrita. There you go. El Magnetrita.
Probably a tie between like Man and MEAD, I suppose. I don't know.
Thriller for me.
Thriller's a good song, but that album, well, I mean, love him or hate him, Thriller just changed music altogether. And that's where I don't agree with all of that video I'm talking about, because I don't think there's a real decline in music until the late 80s, early 90s, where they really started getting into digital only instruments and shit like that and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, late 80s kind of pop music was just kind of so it was so lifeless. Yeah, lifeless.
Adam Wolford, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Miles Morales has the same powers as Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, but not the invisibility. I didn't like Gwen said she was Spider-Woman. Yeah,
I like Spider-Gwen. I did like Spider-Gwen.
Well, I like that he's saying that though, because I've seen so many people try and use the argument that it's so much like the comics and this and that and the other. It's like you guys are just trying to, convince yourself. Don't get me wrong. I understand certain people are going to find stuff in this movie that they can relate to and like, but don't use arguments that aren't true, because it's not nearly as much like the comic books as everybody's trying to say.
I never read a single Miles Morales comic, but was his dad actually named Jefferson Davis?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Because apparently that's his dad's name in the movie, and all I can say is, really? You named your dad after the president of the Confederacy?
CD Horde, the guest, is one of our contributors and writers and a member of the Peanut Butter Podcast, Mr. Tyler Bioshock.
Yellow.
Jefferson Davis, yeah. Jefferson Davis. Gloria Morales is monologue. Oh, don't worry. I throw in plenty of douche jokes in my review. I throw a lot of douche. Lesson 1: don't be a douche.
Does that go up after our show here?
Yeah.
So be sure to check that out as soon as that pops up. If you're not a member of Rob's channel, why don't if somebody can throw up the link to his channel, I could probably do that.
Let's see, copy link address. I got freaking.
You got it already?
Oh, right. No shit! I clicked on time after time on the
oh shit
on the main page there. Shit.
Yes, we're that disorganized, folks. The comments are correct. You get it?
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I do hear that Leonard Part 6 is about as enjoyable as actually hanging out with Bill Cosby.
Or she got Leonard Part 6.
They both do the same thing. They'll put you to sleep and take advantage of you.
Oh, they get the giggity googity googity giggity.
Okay, and Ghost Dad, he looks at you when you're not supposed to.
You're making the Google eyes at me, aren't you? Yes. Yeah, she smiled. I didn't go see this. It's just like the new Coke or Kodak film or Jello pudding.
Hey, Richard, you're not going to believe this, man. Man, Bill Cosby just called me. You know what he says? He says I swear too much, man.
That story is so hypocritical in retrospect now.
You get paid when you say what you do. Yeah. The people laugh. Yeah. Until Bill, I said I have a Coke and smile. Shut the fuck up.
Dan Ramos, the next
you cannot say filth, Lauren, filth in front of people.
Dan Ramos
do it after you knock them out.
That's okay.
This is good. Dan Ramos, the Mexican Sherlock Holmes, still has the last name. There you go. Hey, Sherlock Holmes. Hey, Holmes. That's a good one. I like that. Hey, Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
They should do a Mexican version of Sherlock Holmes. I don't care.
Why not?
Patrick Ollinger says, what did Andre say about the porn podcast? We haven't gotten approval.
I don't think Rob has the balls to ask him.
You know, sometimes I think I should do that, but then I realize, I'm probably going to get him thrown out.
I don't want to either.
I'll do it on my channel. I don't care.
But you're not a part of us.
Well, she is kind of.
Well.
She's a Robin Quivers.
Anyway, well, that's where people are also, though, Rob can get away with it, though, too. But he can do that on his own channel as far as that goes.
Hey, Holmes. I would like to. I
don't think you meant it to be mean, did you, Tyler? Jeez, that was kind of rough.
No.
Oh my. No. I meant by. Okay, do I get to do the whole therapy? I'm so sorry, Random. I really like you quite a bit.
She tried.
Like, I'll tell you, here's the flowers. Here's the paycheck. Here's the credit card. Whatever.
Tim Augustin.
When Spock cried for V'ger.
Tim Augustin pokes Robin's stick. Talk about Trevor Noah. No, I didn't. I don't want to. Yeah, I saw an article dating back from like last June. It says that Comedy Central is starting to realize that one daily show might be one too many.
It's funny. I think I read somewhere once that above the door on the Daily Show is the old phrase, abandon all hope, thee who enter here. I think it has a different meaning now.
Yeah. Oh God. Think about all the hot comedy writers. They're not going to write for the Daily Show anymore. They're going to write for John Oliver and Colbert and for Jimmy Fallon. And they're going out west to write for Jimmy Kimmel. I mean,
I can at least stand Kimmel.
Who wants to write for the Jimmys?
Well, it's a stepping stone in the industry,
Back in my day, a Jimmy was a condom.
I did not know that.
But like I said, though, I mean, like I said, all the hot young comedy writers, they're not going to write for the Daily Show. The Daily Show has lost its luster.
Well, what they'll probably do is end up replacing what's his face with what's her name, who was at the dinner. I know this is how I am with names.
Michelle Wolf.
Yeah, Michelle Wolf.
Yeah, Michelle Wolf got her own show on Netflix, and that was quickly canceled.
No. What's going to happen is they're going to give Larry Wilmore his old show back.
At this point, I'd take Larry Wilmore. I'd take Larry Wilmore over Trevor Noah as the host of the Daily Show. They should have gave it to Larry. To begin with.
If you want personal hell, you should see the stream that EA had when they announced Battlefield 5. They had Trevor Noah on it, and he had no idea about video games or how all they work.
Oh God, yes.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's talking about, man, I'm so happy co-op's coming back again, and the developer had to say, this is the first time we've ever had co-op, and he went, oh, that's great. I didn't know that. Okay.
Zoogie01 says, fuck Kimmel. Yeah, Kimmel's not great, but at least I can stand him over the rest.
I don't hate Kimmel.
Yeah.
The only time I ever liked Jimmy Fallon was, I guess he's all right in Fever Pitch, and that's about it.
Oh, I can't stand Fallon. And that's one of the reasons why Kimmel's like, okay, that between that and the Man Show is like, I hate everybody so much more than I hate Kimmel, and he was on the Man Show. That's why he gets kind of mess.
But even like late night now is suffering from the same thing movies is doing. Like they're going by analytics.
Yeah, we don't have a Letterman anymore. We don't have Johnny Carson anymore.
No.
You know.
I mean,
they're all the same damn thing. They're basically all just advertising whatever new movie comes up, and you have the same actors go on the same shows. You know, one night they'll be on Fallon, one night they'll be on Kimmel. They'll say the same story. They're promoting the same movie. And
well, it's
Mecca Tim Augustine wants to talk about more about Doctor Who.
It's always kind of been that way, but
the hosts had different personalities.
I was just gonna say depending on the host, though, they could bring out different things from the people outside of the canned questions and answers.
So, you know what's funny?
What were you saying there?
I was thinking that apparently they're asking for Mecca's opinion on Doctor Who. I guess because she's coming back.
Yeah.
But you know what was funny though? When Michelle Wolf hosted the White House Correspondents' Dinner, she goes, "Hi, I'm Michelle." She's in that squeaky voice. "I'm Michelle Wolf. I'm on the Daily Show. I'm 32 years old." I'm like, "Really?" I would guess 42. I'm like, "Jeez." And then she goes, "I hear the first time White House Correspondents' Dinner. Nobody's watching." I'm like, "Well, then it'll be just like every time you run the Daily Show. Then so you should be right at home."
That corresponds, Finner. It was nowhere near as good as the old Colbert one from 2005.
Oh, I love Cole. I love the Colbert Report.
The one where he legitimately was on stage and people thought that he was agreeing with them.
Yeah. I loved. Oh my god, that was unbelievable. Colbert. I'm gonna tell you, people talk about Colbert.
Colbert's not too bad.
Colbert on the old show. I watched that from day one. And I can honestly say he never did a bad show. He had ones that were better than others.
He's close to Letterman, but not quite.
He's close to Letterman. Kimmel is actually closer to Letterman than people give him credit for. Kimmel still tries to do a traditional talk show. Fallon just does bits he wants to cut up and put on YouTube.
He's an inoffensive interviewer that laughs at his own jokes in a really obnoxious manner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like me?
Fallon is somebody called him the prom king of comedy.
Mm-hmm. I've always said and Fallon is the guy in my school that was the pretty boy that all the girls laughed at because he was a pretty boy who thought he was fucking funny, but he wasn't.
Is he that pretty though?
And like
he's in a sense of good looking guy in comedy. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's like.
But there's actually
the most real comedians.
Yeah, there's actually a story about Tracy. There's Tracy Morgan, but there's a couple stories about Jimmy Fallon. He gets up at he auditions at Second City or something like that, and he just does these awkward Boston accents just for like 5 minutes, and kid said to him, "Don't quit don't quit your day job." Turns out that was Jimmy Fallon. Mm-hmm. And there was one incident on Saturday Night Live. You know how he used to break character and giggle all the time? Mm-hmm. He was in a sketch with Tracy Morgan.
Still does, yeah.
Yeah, he was in a sketch with
Morgan.
Tracy.
I thought you were talking about Tracy Lords for a moment.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, that would be a totally different sketch. He was in a sketch with Tracy Morgan, and Jimmy Fallon does the thing. He giggles, he breaks character,
I wanted to do a sketch with Tracy Lords. Tracy Lords and Tracy Morgan in the sketch.
But anyway, after that sketch,
yeah, that's what I'll tell my wife. It was a sketch.
They rehearsed it all week, and it was the first time he did it all week. He broke character. Tracy Morgan says to him backstage, "If you ever do that again, I'm gonna kick your ass right in front of everybody here." And he, after that, never did it again in front of him.
That would have been awesome. It was like the time the Geraldo Rivera got punched in the face.
I like Patrick Ollinger. Yeah, I like Conan. Conan's good.
He got
the show's actually
bad.
Oh yeah, the show's actually going to be a half hour coming back in January.
I seen both of the new Culkin videos. Tim Augustine. I seen the one with RLM and I seen the one with the nerd. I liked them.
Oh, yeah. He's on RLM as well.
Yeah, he was on like 3 videos.
Oh, yeah, he's been on a couple of theirs, but he was like Yeah, he's been in like 3 of them now. Yeah, you're right.
It was a full video, one where they did was it hackers they were talking about, and then recently a best of the worst video.
He's done a best of the worst, one of the review shows, yeah, and then another, I think Wheel of the Worst or one of those, yeah.
And hackers. They talk about hackers for about half an hour.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah.
I don't think I want
it now. Actually, then maybe it is.
I don't think I want a gig as host of a talk show. I just want to be band leader.
No, you do too, Rob. That's why you do this.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
So you want to be like the guy that was on Letterman that could have been George Costanza?
That's why I'm your Ed McMahon.
It's really that guy could have been George Costanza.
And that's why, yeah. That's ooh, we got some wild stuff here. Isn't that right, Tom? We got some wild stuff.
I got some wild stuff in my pocket here. Let me pour it out.
I'll be Ed McMahon.
Can I tell you a little bit about Publishers Clearinghouse?
The checks in the mail.
We have a new sponsor tonight. We have a new sponsor. It is Alpo Dog Food. We have good dog food. And Ed, why don't you take us to a live commercial? It's just like, ooh, we're back. Are we still on the air?
We are still on the air because I am not quite drunk yet.
It's interesting. Well, very funny. When Sasha Grey went actually lane streams ending up in like video games and TV shows and never really stated what she used to do.
Oh boy! Did you ever see Conan's bit "Lame Ass Gamer"?
Yeah.
Clueless
Gamer. You mean Clueless Gamer?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Clueless Gamer. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Who are you talking about, Tyler?
Oh, I was saying that because a CD Horde mentioned Sasha Grey, and I just mentioned, she's become so mainstream because she's in video games and movies and TV shows. She doesn't have to ever explain whatever she did before this.
I don't know Sasha Grey.
I know the name. You don't know the name, and I know the name. That's bad because I'm not even into porn.
I know jack shit about porn. I know that name.
I like the classic porn stars. You know,
we know
Nina Hartley, Tori Wells.
Don't get me wrong, but I still know the name.
Barbara Dare.
Pat Kennedy.
Oh, hello. Oh, there you go. 30 years old, North Highland. Oh, hello. Actually, yeah, okay.
Can you share or is it porn?
It's so much porn.
We're getting a little long in the tooth there, boys and girls. I see we're losing viewers quicker than.
We're working a little blue now. Oh, hello, yes, we're working a little blue.
Which is really we never mentioned the Little Mermaid controversy.
Oh, with the penis on the.
No, not that one. The new one.
Which is
what the one about what kiss the girls is.
Oh yeah, I brought that up earlier.
That's the only thing I have to say about this is grow the fuck up. That's all. Jesus.
And I'll say that Disney's always kind of been the whipping post when it comes to their feminist articles.
Again, well, not only that, again, they're just like every one of these other things they've bitched about and I keep bringing up, they're not even thinking of the context of the fucking song and what it's all about. And she wants him to fucking kiss him. Or she wants him to kiss her. And he's singing the song at her fucking behest. It's not like he's fucking saying it for him. Well, they're missing the whole point.
Watch that scene. Take a look at how
he's the fucking victim.
Yes, look at how get a load of the look she's giving him. She's
not only that, she has an ulterior motive. She fucking needs him to kiss her.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. Fun fact: Prince Eric is actually the voice of Ultimate Spider-Man.
They're acting like the song goes like this. Now Eric wants to fuck you, so you better do it anyway. You don't want to say no because that's not okay. No, that's not how the song goes. The song is more like, Eric, you better kiss her now or she's gonna die.
That's how much longer until everyone says that having a Jamaican accent is racist, despite the fact Samuel Wright is Jamaican.
That's next.
Oh God. You don't know why, but he's going to try to fist the girl.
Fist the girl. Sad part is I could play that on guitar and sing the whole song because I know it. But come on, no. The point is like they're missing the whole point again. Just like every other fucking thing they've tried to bitch about lately. It's like you guys are missing the context of every little thing. And if anything, like I said, this is a point to say, oh, wait a minute. Actually, it's more so he's being coerced to kiss her. So you guys are fucking 0 for fucking how many on this song? Oh,
just ignore those people, because even if you respond to them and try to recreate things that they're remaking Little Mermaid in a couple of years, they're gonna probably respond
now
to
that song's gonna get cut out. Fuck you. If there's any reason to see it, that's one of them.
Well, the problem is, if even they do cut it, they'll find something else to complain about. The Beauty and the Beast remake supposedly was more feminist. It really wasn't, and they still found stuff to complain about anyway.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la, don't be scared. You have to lube it up, and you have to fist
Be prepared.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Buddy Hackett was the seagull. Don't watch his stuff, kids, if you think he's innocent.
Stare at each other all day. Got very bored.
Lewis Black was the voice of anger.
Inside Out. Yeah, it's not kid friendly.
Oh, great! Pineapple on pizza. That's a lot of
the Little Mermaid does die in the original story. Yes.
Well, he dies and turns into sea foam. Apparently, that was a more merciful ending than what was the original version.
Well, not only that, I think didn't she get cut up by the sea witch too? Like literally.
I don't think so. I think
maybe there's another version I'm thinking of. I don't know.
I have to look it up. All right, kids, we've been at this for 2.5 hours.
Too long.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this sucker up. Okay, why don't we do that?
No, SJW. Don't complain about Kathy Bates and Nathan Box before you start that, because it was a woman, not a man. Now, if it was reversed, they would.
She was a strong, independent woman fighting against the patriarchal writers.
That's right. Took the words right out of my mouth. If you like what we do, if you want to fight, if you want to fight back against the patriarchy, don't listen to us.
It's the same way where I'm like, okay, South Park next season has to make an episode about the Mongols coming back, and they're like, well, we can't fight them because they're culturally right to rape and pillage us.
Dear God.
They'll do it.
Oh, you Mongolians!
It's part of their culture.
It's like it's a cultural appropriation to let them not murder us.
So can we get away with saying yes? Our culture hates the SJW culture or something? Like, is there a way to spin that to where we can say your offensiveness is offensive to us, so you need to be more sensitive to our needs and not be offended by things?
You just did.
I just broke their minds.
That's
You paradoxed them.
Do they turn into some kind of goo?
I hope so. And then we just hose them up and hose them down the driveway.
It's like scanners. You try to explain it to them, and it's just a head explosion.
They probably turn into that lady who called the cops on those black people who were having a barbecue or whatever in the park.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Or no, the worst one. The lady who went, "Hey, there's a black guy on my rice box. I don't like this."
Oh Jesus.
Uncle Ben.
I really hope that's a joke.
Yeah. All right, guys and girls. Like I said, if you like what we do, click subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified. Head over to the main channel, click subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified over there. Mecca, tell them about your channel.
I am Mecha Random 42. I complain about things and I rant, and I'm very cute. And I have Patreon, which is under Random Game User 42, and that's my Twitch, which I sometimes do gaming every now and then. So yeah, subscribe to me, follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Patrick Ollinger. No, I don't think they're trolls. I just think they're misguided. So all right, Tyler, tell them about you.
They're slacktivists.
Yeah, I'm just a writer for Midnight's Edge, so if you want to find me, I'll be in the Facebook page talking about almost anything and writing videos, which are always upcoming.
That's right.
Okay.
That, and I have a personal podcast that is called the Peanut Butter Podcast. It's one of my friends just talks about nonsense for about 2 hours every so often.
That's what we do.
What we do. Exactly what we do. Jinx by Make Cook.
You want some Coke now too? Jesus, the hookers weren't enough. Fuck, Rob.
Tim August.
He got hookers?
Only
blackjack and hookers.
Oh.
Well, so now I gotta buy you hookers too?
And whiskey.
Oh, by law.
Fucking whiskey for Tyler.
Fun fact, by law, the girls at the brothels in Las Vegas, they can only service men, but you can accompany your man in those.
I get the hint, Rob. Yes, maybe for Christmas next year. Okay.
Well, you better check it. You better make sure it's the right ranch, because I think one of them might be in a bit of trouble since its owner died.
Texas, and a whorehouse in it.
Lord have mercy on our souls.
Texas has a whorehouse in it.
Lord have mercy on our souls. Okay.
I love that. I don't care.
Dolly Parton should really make her own whorehouse.
All right, guys. If you really like what we do, head on over to Patreon. Patreon supporters get all kinds of bonuses, early updates. You can get early info. You get uncut audio, bloopers, outtakes, lost episodes, behind the edge, making of videos. See how Midnight's Edge came to be. You get first crack at things like the Trek Log animation and more. You support the channel for as little as $1 a month. As I always say, if you don't have the means to support the channel, please click subscribe, share with your friends, click the bell icon, let the ads play. And as always, we cannot do this without you. And actually, we've got a shout out to our friends. Captain Robert April, we're trying to get him over 1,000 subs. We're trying to get Mecha Random. Actually, go over Mecha Random's channel, subscribe. Check out Professor Geek. Check out SC Reviews. Check out Overlord DVD, Doomcock. Who else, Tom? Who else?
Peanut Butter Podcast.
Check out the Peanut Butter Podcast.
You can put that link in the chat there, Tyler, to your channel or the channel that it's on.
Yes.
Sure, I'll do that real quick.
Click the like button. Make sure you click the like button. What else? Who else?
Shout out to Dave's Archives, a really great commercial channel from the 80s.
There you go.
Yes. What's Clownfish TV? They're good.
Yeah, I wish I remembered the name of the people who did the video we were talking about earlier in referencing the music one, but I'll have to bring them up next.
Yes.
Oh, that was Thoughty 2, I think.
Thoughty 2, yes.
Next time in music history, we can talk about what has the best Beatles song. I will fight for When I'm 64.
Ooh, I want to hear your argument on that.
I always say I cannot pick a favorite Beatles song because I always judge their whole body of work.
I got the trumpet. That's me. Rob, this is why you use my answer. You say the best one is at the end of Abbey Road. Those 3 songs together, man. Golden Slumber.
The Abbey Road medley, yes.
Yeah, in the end, though, that's what you say. There you got 3 songs built into one that are just
you gotta toss me a line and it makes dating a point of view.
Every time, you know how I always say I'm always looking for that. When I really respond to something, when I know something is great, I get that you get a chill up your spine.
Yeah.
Every time I listen to the Abbey Road medley, when they break from Carry That Weight, they go back. Dun, 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 dun. It gets me every single time.
I just listen to it
every single time I go see Paul. When he plays that, I was like, oh my! It just I'm getting a bit verklempt. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic.
Somebody brought up the Trek Log. Tim Augustine. The Trek Log animation conclusion is on Patreon right now.
Yes, gives you more reason to become a Patreon member, doesn't it?
It's very good.
Who Andre really is.
All will be revealed. All will be revealed.
There's a twist.
Plays
isn't there?
Yeah. Oh, actually, shout out. I'm not getting any money for this. I'm not, they're not an advertiser, but shout out to Sweetwater Music. I bought a set of tuning machines from one of my guitars from them. If you're looking for great customer service, if you're musically inclined, check them out. They're good. So I'm not getting a kickback from them. We're not being supported by them. They just do good work. So anyway, I just want Tim Augustine. Just want to hear Rob have a mental breakdown about Star Trek on a regular basis. You're going to get that soon. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Everybody, final parting words. Tom?
Rutabaga.
Mecca like a high, Mecca honey ho.
You stole my shit.
Tyler?
My grandkids are now named Vera, Chuck, and White.
Vera, Chuck, and Dave.
Damn it.
Dan Ramos, that's Sweetwater Music. Check them out. Okay, everybody. Last time, the Mexmen for Sherlock Holmes, for Tom, for Mecca, for Tyler, for myself. Pilot light shining bright. Dun, dun, dun. We will catch you next time.
Check out Rob's new video coming out here.
Check out my new video on my channel. Check it out. I'm gonna be uploading it within the next half hour. Should be up there within the next half hour. Check it out. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next time.